Welcome back to Bergen and Horror, where we mix the spine-tingling chills of horror with the strategy of drama of reality TV. I'm Austin, I'm joined by Cameron, and today we're taking another terrifying trip to the island. That's right, by popular demand, we're diving into a second season of Survivor, featuring iconic horror figures, both good and bad. Final girls, slashers, monsters, and masterminds. Who will outlast, outwit, and outscare the competition this time? Will the villains form an unholy alliance, or will the survivors band together to turn the tides? What horrifying twists and diabolical betrayals await? It's time to imagine the alliances, challenges, and chaos of a second Survivor Horror Edition. So, grab your buffs and your machetes because the ultimate battle for survival is about to begin again. Let's dive in. How are you doing today, Cam?
I am doing really well. This is a cast that I'm excited for. I am curious to see how much this is going to compare to the previous season as well, because we've got like a bunch of different types of characters in here. So,
I
yeah.
can totally agree with that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm very pumped and excited to see what further chaos is going to happen. I mean, by just looking at this tribe uh of characters that we have, I don't even know if I can pick out like a winner clearly from looking at them.
Mm,
So I'm pretty excited to get into everything that's going to go down on this season.
right.
So as we look at our uh cast members, we're going to kind of go through both of our tribes, introduce them, if you know or not know them, give you a little bit of a our own personal thoughts on them. And at the very end, we'll go through and pick out our top four that we see and our first four outs that we see could go home.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to kick us off there, Cam, with your tribe.
All right. So we have the Akuma tribe, and just if you don't want to hear Scream 5 spoilers, so just skip forward like a minute to the podcast. All right. You just skip forward. Five, four, three, two, one. All right. So Amber Freeman is one of two ghost faces in Scream 5, and the way she revealed herself, the pure shock from everybody in the room when she just shot that one girl was just everyone was in complete awe. Nobody was expecting her. So I think she's going to be able to play the strategical game really well. Plus, in terms of like the physical strength, she can endure a lot because she got burnt pretty much to a crisp and still charged at like Gale Weathers with a fucking butcher knife. So I think Amber is going to be a threat to look out for, and I'm really excited to see how Amber goes. Next up,
Heck yeah.
we have Benny from Benny Loves You. Benny is pretty much like a sentient stuffed animal. He doesn't say anything other than like the voice lines he's given, like "I love you," "Oh wow," and like some other generic stuff like that. Benny, whoever like his owner is, if Benny sees someone else enter their life, he gets jealous and kills them. So Benny is loyal to like one person in particular. So I'm curious to see how Benny is going to operate this. Will he learn that he can't be doing that here because all weapons have been confiscated off the island because Jeff Probst doesn't want to see any bloodshed on this island. So I hope Benny can form some good bonds and just play up his nice guy persona. um,
Yeah.
Next up, Count Orlok from 1922's Nosferatu. Yes, 1922. This movie is from 102 years ago, almost 103 at the time we're recording this. Nosferatu, Count Orlok, is, if I remember correctly, the oldest surviving vampire movie that we have. And Nosferatu, he's a creep. And in terms of social game, he doesn't really have one because the main way he communicated with people is like sending letters and whatnot. And all the people in town, where he lived, didn't seem to like him. Now, to help Count Orlok, since he does not like sunlight, we have given him some sunblock, so so he will be fine. You know, we asked Van Helsing, to make him a very special kind of sunblock to help him out here, and he agreed. But he's only making him one thing of it because after this he wants to kill him. Anyway, next up we have Drooper. Some people are probably like, what the fuck is Drooper? Drooper is from the Banana Splits movie, which is kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's before the Five Nights at Freddy's movie came out. And honestly, the animatronics acted in it more like how I wanted to than they did in the FNAF movie. Drooper is my second favorite. I figured we would add him because I feel like, in terms of like the physical part, I think he could withstand the most. I don't know why. I just feel like he's a real tough boy. And I feel like he has like that charm, and he's got that long southern drawl kind of voice, and I feel like some people are going to like that about him. I feel like he's just going to be very likable. As long as he doesn't start singing the Banana Split song like tra la 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 la, I think he'll be fine because that would annoy people. I think Benny would dig it though, but you know. So as long as Drooper doesn't start singing like crazy, I think he's fine. Next up, Evelyn Abbott. Now, in terms of that name, probably nobody knows who the hell that is. I'll just say it in, easier terms. The mom from A Quiet Place. She is from the movie A Quiet Place, and, she is like one of the definitions of survivor, in my opinion. Like, in the world she's in, you can't even make noise. If you even make like an inkling of noise, you risk dying at all times. It doesn't matter where you are. You cannot hide from these things. You have to be quiet. You can't talk. And Evelyn, she might be a bit rusty here because, she isn't able to talk strategy during the quiet place. Luckily, we moved her out to the Survivor Island so she's able to freely talk as much as she wants. But, I'm curious to see how she does. I think in terms of like physical, she'll be good. Mental, she'll be fine as well. Strategy, I don't know. And social, I don't know. So, Evelyn, I'm curious about. Detective Mark Hoffman. Now, if you haven't seen the Saw movies, please go watch them. As once said by a famous horror channel named Dead Meat, the Saw movies, like the first 7 or 8 of them, they feel like a really messy soap opera, and I couldn't have said it better myself because that's exactly how it feels. Detective Mark Hoffman, other than Jigsaw himself, I believe returns in the most amount of Saw movies. Um, Mark Hoffman, he's a very manipulative son of a bitch. I think in terms of like the social and strategy, he's going to perform really well, and he's also a really tanky person. So I see him doing phenomenal in the game, and I'm really curious to see like who he decides to align himself with, and who he decides to distance himself with. I think it's going to be a really interesting game from him. Hopefully, it won't be like John Kramer on Big Brother, and he just doesn't really do much because that was kind of disappointing because you and I were hoping he did something, but he really didn't.
Mhm.
So, Hoffman, I have high hopes for. Hopefully, he doesn't let me down. Mike Schmidt from the hit movie Five Nights at Freddy's. It's soon to be Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Mike Schmidt. See, he's an interesting guy because he's really kind of an awkward person, and he really lets his brother's, you know, abduction haunt him, which, it's understandable, but that's like a good chunk of his personality is just him constantly thinking back about his brother and what he should have done. So he doesn't really develop too much of a character. Mike is, however, very caring of people younger than him because he wants to protect him, unlike how he could protect his brother. So Mike, I see him being like surprisingly kind of a father figure, or maybe like a big brother to some people. Like, so I see maybe Glenn on your tribe, he could, be like a father to.
Hmm.
But I see like if he were to bond with like Amber, maybe it'd be like a sister bond. Um, Millie Kester or Kessler from Freaky. Millie again would highly recommend watching the movie. She is portrayed to a T. This is specifically the non-possessed version of Millie. Um, so this is Millie after Freaky is all done and over with. Millie, at the start of the movie, I would have said like social and strategy isn't too high, but now I'd say she's pretty well equipped in that. Um, in terms of physical and endurance, I don't think she's going to be the best, but I don't think she's going to be the worst. I see Millie doing pretty all right for herself. Hopefully, she makes it further than, you know, the first merge boots. I hope she makes it to the jury. But yeah, that's Millie. And last but not least, for my tribe, Vanita Stretch Brock. Now, when you think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre survivors, you think of Sally Hardesty. Everybody does. But in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, you have Stretch. And Stretch is she's fucking goofy, man. But she also like talks on the radio and whatnot. So obviously she's very sociable. Um, and I'd assume she has some strategy because she found a way to like mind fuck Leatherface almost immediately after meeting him. So I think she's going to be really tough in terms of like strategy and whatnot. And anyone who's able to survive a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie automatically has high endurance. So I am very excited to see how Stretch does too. I think she might be kind
Hell
of
yeah.
a sleeper pick. But yeah, that is the Akuma tribe.
All right. Moving on to the Cryptala tribe. Starting us off, we have from House of a Thousand Corpses, the very iconic Captain Spaulding. Captain Spaulding is he's an interesting man. He will act very chill and demure, but also is one crazy SOB. Um, he's coming on after another House of a Thousand Corpses family member, Baby, was on Big Brother season one and made it pretty much all the way to the very end. Captain Spaulding, I think, is going to be very interesting when it comes to dynamics within the tribe, especially with the next person, Dr. Giggles from the movie Dr. Giggles. He is very sadistic, crazy, just sociopathic man who I think that they will get along with Captain Spaulding quite well. Moving down next is Glenn from Seed of Chucky. Glenn is another anti-hero where he doesn't really do anything, or they don't really do anything bad per se, but they are still kind of born that way. Glenn's gonna have some interesting dynamics as well with their tribe members. We have Lydia Dietz, specifically from Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. She is now grown. She has more knowledge and wisdom, but she might be struggling still with the haunting feeling of somebody that we should not name lurking around. Moving forward, it's Mary Mason from American Mary, another guilty pleasure kind of movie. She starts off in the surgery, plastic surgery kind of field, doing plastic surgery for women um, because they ask for it, and it kind of becomes more sadistic as time goes on. So it's going to be interesting to see how she fares as time goes on. If she will falter and become a little crazy. Moving forward, um, from the movie Leprechaun, it's Ozzy Jones. Last season we had Leprechaun also as a feature, who, if I'm not mistaken, made it pretty far.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's going to be interesting to see Ozzy and how he's going to be able to deal with what's going to come, and we'll see. Next up is the Grabber from Cameron's personal guilty pleasure favorite movie, The Black Phone. I actually stole Grabber from him in the tribe uh, drafting, so very excited to see Grabber. Um, and he's another interesting character that is going to definitely have an interesting story, I feel like, this season.
I agree.
Uh, Next up is Tree Gelbman from Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day 2. She relives her same day over and over again, like Groundhog's Day. Um, so she definitely has the endurance built for long, repetitive days. Um, and I think she's going to be pretty smart when it comes to challenges and everything and making social games and alliances. And finally, it's Valentine McKee from the movie Tremors. Valentine, clearly a beast when it comes to physical strength and endurance, being able to outrun a large, like basically sandworm creature and defeat it. He is really smart when it comes to setting up like traps and stuff like that. So I feel like he's going to be a pretty key player when it comes to the game of Survivor. And there we have our two tribes, the Akuma tribe and Cryptala. Now, our very first impressions of our castaways. Side, is there any four people that stand out to you as the cream of the crop, if you will?
I definitely see Ozzy having a lot of friends because he's just a very likable guy. So I could see that really helping him out throughout the game. So I see Ozzy making it far. I also see Amber Freeman making it pretty far because, like I said, she is a very manipulative person, and she also knows how to also kind of stay under the radar. So she can kind of be controlling people, but also make it feel like it's not her. I don't know how to really explain it, but I think she'll do well. I also see Lydia doing pretty well because she's one of like the few survivors on here, or like heroes, I should say, that I think could
Mm-hmm.
get along well with some of these villains. You know, because some of these heroes, they probably wouldn't stand the thought of working with one of them. But Lydia, I could see
Yeah.
definitely being flexible. So I say Lydia as well. And for the last one, you're going to call me crazy. I think Drooper might make it far. I
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. I think because he's a strong guy, so people on the team might want to keep him around because he'll be able to help them out. And I also feel like he has more of a bubbly kind of personality that people will like. That's just my opinion, though. What about you? What are four that you think will make it far?
All right. I think one of my four after I talked about them, I think Valentine McKee kind of
Mm,
just gives me Survivor um of it. Just yeah, I feel like he's just one that's going to do pretty well. I'm hoping at least.
right.
Um, I feel like Evelyn Abbott could also be another potential one that could get to the end. She is, like you said, a survivor. She knows how to do the surviving part. As you did mention, I mean, her social game is going to be what kind of makes or breaks her,
Mm,
but I feel like she can adapt to that. They do still have like a social environment in A Quiet Place, but it is quite different. So if she can get over that hurdle, which I think she is strong enough to do, she could definitely be another finalist.
For sure.
I think someone that might surprise us would be the Grabber. I feel like the Grabber might also become a finalist. I think he is smart enough to figure people out and get what he wants as long as he gets past his obsession with individuals. And my final one, oh gosh, I think it might be Amber Freeman. I feel like she is also very sneaky enough to make her way to the end. She's charming. You know, no one's going to see her stab them in the back, if you will.
Right.
All right, so those are our top fours. If you are wanting to play along with us, feel free to drop your top four down in the comments below. We're also going to go over our predicted first four outs. So I'll kick us off with that. I think one of the first four people to get the chop might be Count Orlok. And I don't know if you think that would be crazy,
Yeah, I agree with you.
but I don't know if he has the social strategy and cues to really lock it in. I mean, he might prove us wrong and be one of those top contenders at the end, but from first impressions alone, I feel like Count Orlok is one. Um, a second one I feel might honestly be Glenn. I don't know if Glenn's heart will be in it to win it. Um, so yeah, Glenn for me would have to be another one. Um, Another out that I see kind of early, mm, might be, gosh, oh man, I'm stuck between a couple of them, and I'm like, I'm gonna go with what my brain told me first, Dr. Giggles. I think Dr. Giggles could be another early out, if he doesn't fine tune his brain to think about the game. It might hurt him pretty quickly. And then my final early out might be Stretch, which sucks to say. She has the endurance that she needs to win. I wonder if her tribe will see that and also cut her a little short. Because I could see Amber definitely going after who she thinks might be a threat.
Right. So
What about you?
I agree with you on Count Orlok and Doctor Giggles. So that's two right there that I completely agree with. One on your tribe that I think, oh my god, one on your tribe that I think could also potentially see his demise is Captain Spaulding, because I feel like Doctor Giggles would be like a shield for Spaulding, right? But once Giggles is gone,
Yeah.
Spaulding would be next. So I don't see either of them making it super far. So yeah, those are the two I'm going off of on your team, and I'm gonna go with Count Orlok, and I'm also, you're probably gonna be shocked with this. So I'm gonna go with Mike. I
Okay.
feel like Mike is just gonna be kind of awkward and might keep to himself, and people just might see that as like an easy vote, and he might be gone pretty soon. So yeah, that's
All
my
right.
first
All
four.
right. All right. Well, we have locked in our top four and bottom four of the season based solely on our first impressions and how we think they're gonna go. This season of Horror Survivor is using the format of Survivor Redemption Island, which I think is going to really spice up the gameplay because not only are your tribe mates able to vote you out, but you're able to fight your way back in to the competition. And I think that's gonna add definitely a new level of strategy, and as well, if people vote you out, you're gonna come back with a hot vengeance and you're going to probably dislike those people.
Exactly.
So I'm excited to see how Redemption Island goes this season for these castaways. Are you ready to get started?
I'm so hyped. My body is ready.
So we're gonna go ahead and turn on our reasoning and targets as per usual, and also touch on our relationship highlights so you can kind of follow them a little bit deeper to see what's going on.
Hmm.
So starting off, we're going to have the tribe status. So we currently have the Akuma tribe hidden immunity idol. Hidden. There are currently no alliances. We have Millie and Benny having a medium bond. Uh, Mark and Orlok with a bond. Mike and Amber bonding. Stretch and Mike. Rupert and Orlok with a dislike. Evelyn and Benny with a small bond. Mike disliking Mark. Interesting. Millie and Mike bonding with each other. Mark disliking Mike. And Orlok and Amber with a medium dislike. Anything that you're surprised
Um,
we didn't get kind of?
I mean, I can kind of see like the dislike with Mark and Mike being a bit surprising, like off rip, because Mark usually isn't one to like make enemies off rip, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So I guess that's the big one for me so far.
Right, over on the Cryptala tribe, we currently have the hidden immunity idol. We have the small bond here. We have Valentine and Ozzy bonding. This is another one I could easily see bonding.
Mm.
Tree and Ozzy. Ozzy and Mary disliking each other. Grabber and Ozzy disliking one another. Ozzy bonding with Glenn. Definitely could see that. Grabber and Lydia not liking each other. Lydia liking Glenn. And we have Mary and Spalding not really caring for each other.
Is there anything there that is surprising to you?
Honestly, not really. I am surprised that Mary and Captain Spaulding kind of right off the bat didn't like each other.
Mm.
But, because, yeah. Alright, so we have our first immunity challenge. It's called Push It Up a Hill.
Each tribe pushes 4 blocks along a track to build the base of a temple. They will then run up the steps, where one person will use an axe to chop a series of ropes, releasing another set of steps. They'll then make their way to the top, where they will race to solve a block puzzle, which will complete their temple. First tribe to get it right wins. And it looks
Alright,
like we have the Cryptala tribe winning immunity. And they also win Flint.
yeah, so, for me, some standouts for this particular challenge. Definitely, I think Valentine McKee, Grabber, definitely helping quite a bit with the running portion and, the physical. What are your thoughts?
I think in terms of a puzzle, Tree definitely nailed it, and Doctor Giggles, he's a doctor, So I think, that possibly helped as well. I think the highlights for the puzzle were either Tree, Giggles, and Lydia, or maybe if we want to really look into it, maybe the Grabber could have thought of something, but I'm not too sure. But yeah.
Alright, over at the Akuma tribe, Millie has a major meltdown.
Hmm.
Mike and Millie have a minor disagreement. Not looking too great for Millie there. You have your first tribe alliance. So we have Orlok, Evelyn, Mark, Mike, and Stretch. How
So
was that for you?
I'm a bit weirded out by it, to be honest. I don't know how Mike and Mark are wanting to be in an alliance together when they immediately didn't really care for each other. I don't know who brought in Stretch and Evelyn. I know Mark definitely brought in Orlok. I don't know how this alliance formed, but I think this could be like pretty tight alliance, honestly.
Now, do you think that they might be playing up the disagreements um towards in front of the other like the remainder of their tribe mates to kind of disguise that this unlikely alliance of five?
That could be, honestly. If that is the case, they're starting out the gates extremely like tough. They're not messed around if that's how they're playing the game.
All right. As some individual targets, Orlok is targeting Drooper, considering him a challenge liability.
Hmm.
Uh, As you've been saying before with Survivor Season 1 and Jumbo, I will mirror and echo the same thing. I don't see Drooper with his big, clunky feet being great in challenges.
I see him being good in that challenge though, because you have to like pick up the massive blocks.
So we have Mark targeting Millie, consider her a challenge liability.
Hmm.
Drooper targeting Count Orlok, considering him a challenge liability. Mike or Millie, I just combined their names. Millie's targeting Mike or Mark, considering him a challenge liability. And then we have the group of the Akuma tribe targeting Drooper.
Hmm.
How are you feeling after seeing all of this go down for your tribe?
Here's the thing. I thought Jupiter would make it far, but in terms of character, I like Millie more. So
All right.
I, it's really not looking good for Trooper specifically, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not looking too great, but we'll see what happens at travel. Meanwhile, over at Cryptala, we also have our idol hidden. Biggles and Lydia are bonding.
That's
And we have an alliance
surprising.
form, which we kind of saw coming. Captain Spaulding and Dr. Giggles. Pretty strong alliance. All right. Over at Kuma,
Hmm?
it's time to vote. If anyone has the idol and like to play it, now is the time to do so.
Nobody has it.
Nobody stand. I'll read the votes. First vote, Drooper. That's one vote, Drooper. Drooper. That's two votes, Drooper. 7 votes left. Drooper. That's 3 votes, Drooper. 6 votes left. Millie. That's 3 votes, Drooper. 1 vote, Millie. 5 votes left. Drooper. That's 4 votes, Drooper. 1 vote, Millie. 4 votes left. First person voted out of Horror Survivor Season 2, Drooper. That's
Yeah.
5. That's enough. It was 8 votes, Drooper. 1 vote, Millie.
Okay.
Drooper, the tribe has spoken.
But he gets to go to Redemption Island.
That is true. Are you surprised by this pretty much unanimous decision to send Drooper home?
I am. I didn't think Drooper would be a first boot. I really didn't think he would. I'm hoping he'll be able to make a comeback on Redemption Island, though, because I feel like he can definitely do that.
Yeah, he's gonna have quite a fight to, you know,
Oh, yeah.
make it through all of these other castaways that are gonna come through. So it's
But
gonna be interesting to see.
he is a robot. He's an animatronic. So he can't really get worn out unless, like,
Yeah.
so I don't know. It'll be really difficult to beat him, I think,
All
depending
right,
on what it
moving on
is.
to yeah, for sure. Episode 2, the Akuma Tribe's idol's hidden, and it looks like Stretch finds his idol. How do you feel?
Okay, I am actually pretty cool with Stretch finding it. So, you said you think Stretch might be an early boot. Do you still feel that way after seeing this?
Well, I mean, if she's smart enough and plays the idol, if she needs to play the idol, then no, she can't
I
be.
I don't know if she shares this information with her alliance. Do you think she does?
I feel like she's gonna have to first keep it a little bit of a secret, and then maybe she might let her alliance know.
Hmm.
I'm not sure. All right. We have the alliance still all here. Everyone has the same loyalty. Stretch still with hers.
Hmm?
We have the relationship highlights. Looks like so far looks like the same. Mark and Olak are bonding. Mike and Amber have a small bond towards one another. Stretch with Evelyn. Nolan and Benny. Millie and Evelyn. It's like Stretch is bonding a little bit more with Mark, so I'm wondering if she maybe is thinking about letting him know. But I don't know if Mark's the right guy to let him know that you have this idol.
I don't think so either. Especially with how crafty of a guy he is. I mean, he is one of Jigsaw's
Yeah,
apprentices. He is a very crafty guy.
for sure. Right over at Cryptola, nobody has the idol still.
Okay.
Um, and looks like Giggles and Spaulding are really ho-humming it here.
That doesn't shock me.
Yeah. Same relationships going on.
Mary and Spalding don't like each other.
Yep, they don't care for each other. We still got the same bonds between Tree and Ozzy, Valentine and Ozzy,
Grabber and Ozzy don't like
Grabber and Ozzy not caring for each other. Valentine and Tree are spawning, Grabber and Spaulding are bonding, and Ozzy and Mary are not liking each other.
Mm.
Alright, our next immunity challenge, Cameron, is Smash, Grab, Smash.
One person from each tribe will swim out to a platform, climb to the top, smash a tile, and retrieve a key. Then the next person goes. Once all 5 keys are collected, one person will use those keys to open a box and retrieve a ball. The remaining 2 tribe members will use that ball to break 5 tiles. First tribe to break all 5 tiles wins. And it looks like we have Cryptala tribe wins immunity once again. They also win some fishing gear.
How do you feel about that?
Um, really not looking good for my tribe. Mm, yeah, I think for that throwing part, they could have used Drooper because Drooper like he has
Yeah.
an arm on him, man. Um, but yeah, I can see why this tribe would win.
Alright, over the Akuma tribe, so I got Stretch with the idol. She also has a major meltdown. What do you think that meltdown would be?
um, maybe that we've lost twice in a row now. Maybe that's why she's like Akuma has lost 2 times in a row now. I'm freaking out, but I don't know why she would be freaking out about it because she's in such a tight alliance.
So here is that alliance that is now dissolving.
That
So
maybe that's the cause of her meltdown.
yeah. But, however, don't fret, a new alliance has formed. You want to brief us on that alliance?
So we had the alliance with Count Orlok, Evelyn, Mark, Mike, and Stretch dissolve. But when one door closes, another opens. We have a new alliance featuring Benny, Evelyn, Mike, Millie, and Stretch. So instead of Hoffman and Orlok, we have Millie and Benny joining in on the rotation. And I think for Mike, he's going to enjoy that a lot more because he was not getting along with Hoffman. So I think
Yeah,
this alliance makes
I
more sense for them.
I agree 100%. I think that this is the refined alliance that they needed. Um, Hopefully after that major meltdown, Evelyn and Mike were able to console Stretch and get her knowing that it'll be okay.
Hopefully.
Um, so from the get-go, Benny is going to have the highest loyalty to this
Mm.
alliance. So I think he knows that he definitely needs an alliance. He is so small, he's not much of a help physically.
Oh, really? He's not. Yeah.
Alright, so some targets we have. Orlok is targeting Mike. He's probably pissed.
Oh yeah, he is. He thinks he's a challenge
We
liability.
got Amber targeting Benny, considering Benny challenge liability,
That one makes
which,
sense.
yes.
Yeah.
Mark is targeting Millie. He strongly dislikes Millie, maybe because
Hmm.
she took his spot.
Oh yeah, that could be.
Millie is targeting Mark,
Oh,
considering him a challenge liability.
that's just not true though.
Ugh. And we have the group of Lions 2 wanting to vote out Mark. Do you think that this
Ooh.
is Mark's time?
I think it's smarter for them to get rid of Orlok if they want to win challenges. I feel like Orlok, he's not the most powerful. Granted, he is a creature, but I just don't think he's like as strong as Hoffman. I feel like Hoffman could easily take him. So I think
Yeah.
if they're looking for someone to keep for challenges, they should keep Mark. But yeah,
Yeah, I definitely second that as well. Let's find out what goes on. So Mary and Ozzy have a small fight. And Ozzy works hard at camp. He's probably painting, the walls at like the new shack that they made.
yeah.
All right, Akuma Matata.
Oh my.
Stretch has the idol. If anyone likes to play it, now's the time to do so. And no one stands. I'll
Right.
read the votes. The first vote, Mark. That's one vote, Mark. Mark. That's two votes, Mark. 6 votes left. Mark. That's 3 votes, Mark. 5 votes left. Mark. That's 4 votes, Mark. 4 votes left. How are you feeling so far with this?
It's Mark's time. It's gotta be. I, it sucks, but you know, it's just
Count
Mark.
Orlock.
I think Warlock gets like
It's four
maybe
votes,
one more
Mark.
vote.
1 vote, Count Orlock. 3 votes left.
Yeah.
Second person to vote out of Horse Survivor Season 2, Mark. That's 5. That's enough.
Man.
Those 7 votes, Mark. 1 vote, Count Orlock. Mark, the tribe has spoken.
Pretty much unanimous again.
Yeah, that's looks like so far the way that your tribe's going. They're all agreeing for the most part.
Yeah.
All right, moving into episode 3, the tribe status. Stretch has that hidden immunity idol. Your alliance looks like some people have grown loyalty.
Like Mike and Evelyn have. Okay.
Yeah. We have Mike and Amber feeling a mutual bond. I think Amber's trying to get in with Mike for sure.
Hmm. Maybe she sees Mike as like a Richie kind of figure.
I think so for sure.
Hmm.
Millie and Benny are bonding some more, which is good for them. They're an alliance.
Yeah.
Mike and Evelyn, of course, are bonding some more as well. Evelyn and Benny are bonding. Millie and Evelyn are bonding. Mike and Benny are bonding. Oldlock and Amber are still disliking one another. Stretch and Mike are bonding. Millie and Amber are bonding. And Evelyn and Oldlock have a slight bond towards one another. So do you think Evelyn feels kind of bad for kicking Oldlock out?
Maybe a little bit, but at the end, she has to do what's best for her game, and her best strategy doesn't involve him being a part of it.
Yeah.
So,
Alright, over on Cryptala, it's the Captain Spaulding and Giggles show. Um, they're still in a pretty high lines. Captain Spaulding is at 6, Giggles 8. Unbreakable relationship between them. Lydia and Giggles still the same. Still the same with Mary and Spaulding. Valentine and Ozzy. Grabber and Ozzy still not liking each other. Ozzy and Mary still not liking each other. Tree and Ozzy bonding. And Valentine and Tree bonding. And then Grabber and Spaulding bonding. Horrifica tribe. Mark arrives on the Herifica tribe. It's Drooper and Mark Hoffman. Two castaways are on the tribe. They must advance in a competition to remain in the game. Do you want to tell us about Jailbreak?
Got the challenge. It's called Jailbreak. Starting from behind a makeshift cage, players must use sticks and rope to create a long pole to retrieve three keys. These keys are to be used to open three locks. First person to open all three locks and get through their door stays alive on the Horrifica tribe.
So, what? How are you seeing Drooper and Mark face off here? Is there one that you're seeing as a clear winner?
For this one in particular, Mark wins this in my eyes. Because here's the thing. Again, Jigsaw Apprentice. It's literally a trap. And
Mm-hmm.
that is where Mark succeeds. He knows the ins and outs of traps. Like, he is one of two people to survive the reverse bear trap. And the reverse bear trap he had, it was borderline unwinnable, but he found a way. And so, I think he can win this. I'd be shocked if Drooper beats him here, but I'd be betting on Mark. What about you?
I definitely echo everything you just said. I mean, Drooper is animatronic. I feel like he would have a harder time with these very fine uh details of the challenge of creating a long pole with these sticks and rope. And he is just big. I feel like he's just not designed for it. But we never know what happens in Survivor.
Yeah. Hoffman's also a big guy.
Drooper
Oh.
finishes first. Mark fails to complete the challenge on time. He is
So
eliminated.
Mark Hoffman,
Wow.
first official elimination. Wow.
All right. Our next immunity challenge is the spin cycle.
Three members of each tribe will be strapped to a large wheel. Three other members will spin the wheel. As the wheel turns, the strapped tribe mates will be submerged in a tub full of water, where they must grab a mouthful of water and spit it onto a tube. Once the tube gets filled with water, a ball will drop from it. The last tribe member will then solve a slide puzzle. When finished, the puzzle will turn into a table maze where the puzzle marker must lead the ball into a pocket. First puzzle marker to finish this feat would win immunity for their tribe. And once again, Cryptala tribe wins immunity. They also win comfort items in tarps, chairs, pillows, blankets, and a lantern.
Heck yeah. My tribe is just dominating
Oh yeah.
this early game. I think they definitely just seem to synergize very well together. I think there are definitely some very clear leaders that would kind of have everyone put in very specific areas of these challenges. So
Mm.
yeah, let's go and see what happens in the tribal statuses. So we still have your girl Stretch with the idol, Evelyn impressing the rest of the team, Amber impressing the rest of the team, and we have a new alliance form. How do you feel about this?
It's a really strong alliance, and dare I say, I think it's better. So, this alliance consists of Amber Freeman, her first alliance, Evelyn Abbott, Mike Schmidt, and Millie Kessler. So they're ditching Benny, which, you know, is a bit shocking, but, I don't mind it all too much. I wonder how Millie feels about it since she is fairly close with Benny, you know? Um, and I also wonder how Stretch feels not being a part of this team. But anyway, let's move on.
Yeah. Hmm?
Anyway, let's see.
Alright, so we have Orlok targeting Mike, considering him weak and has a negative opinion. Amber targeting Stretch, considering her a challenge liability. Evelyn targeting Olok now.
Okay.
She considers him somewhat weak. Stretch is targeting Millie, considering her a challenge liability. And we have group targets. So the original Tribe Alliance 2 is targeting Count Orlok.
Do you think this new four is gonna target Stretch?
If Amber gives her influence to it, it's a possibility.
Yeah, I think
But
that's the only thing.
I'd be curious to see if they would or they would go with an easy out like Orlok.
Yeah, Orlok is the safe vote.
Um, the Akima tribe though is considering splitting between Count Orlok and Amber. Wow.
Hmm. Okay.
So do you think that maybe they're saying the split and have like Benny and Stretch? Oh, Amber?
I think they're gonna dump more votes on Orlok, but they're gonna have some dumped on Amber as well, just in case they're scared Orlok plays an idol. I think that's
Yeah.
what they're banking on. They might think Orlok has it, because Stretch hasn't said
So
anything.
do you think then Evelyn is being pretty strategic of putting them on Amber, even though they're in an alliance?
I think Evelyn might be one of the votes on Count Orlok then. I think I see Evelyn and Mike and Millie voting for Orlok, and Amber also. Then I see Stretch and Benny and Orlok voting for Amber. So it's 4-3. That is my prediction for how this is going to go.
Our other tribe alliance of number three is looking to put their votes on Orlok.
Right.
So the alliance and faction targets are finalized between two castaways, Count Orlok and Stretch.
No Amber.
Oh, Amber. So the Cryptolo tribe, we still have our idol hidden. Mary and Grabber have a huge fight. Valentine is injured but gets treated and can stay in the game. Ooh,
Yeah, we don't want another medevac.
oh no. Alright, Akuma tribe. It's time to vote. If anyone has the idol and they like to play it, now is the time to do so.
Yeah, especially
No
Stretch, it
one
wouldn't make sense for
stands.
her to play it.
I'll read the votes. First vote, Count Orlok. That's one vote, Count Orlok. Count Orlok. That's two votes, Count Orlok. 5 votes left. Stretch. That's two votes, Count Orlok. 1 vote, Stretch. 4 votes left. Count Orlok. That's 3 votes, Count Orlok. 1 vote, Stretch. 3 votes left. Third person voted out of Horror Survivor Season 2. Count Orlok. That's 4. That's enough. Final votes were 6 votes to 1. Count Orlok, the tribe has spoken.
Mm.
Another unanimous decision.
Yeah, and there was talks of there being a split. I think that would have been more interesting, but it makes sense that
Yeah,
they
they
voted
want to
Cal
go
Orlok.
play it safe, maybe.
Yeah, because Orlok, he
Yeah,
isn't part of anything, and he probably doesn't like anyone in the tribe because there was a unanimous vote on his buddy Hoffman.
yeah. All right, continuing on. Episode 4, the Akuma tribe. Stretch still has the idol, and here is the alliance. It looks
Evelyn went down.
like it might have flipped a little bit from Evelyn being 6 to now Mike being a 6.
I think those three were sixes, but Evelyn dropped. I could be wrong.
Okay. We have the alliance 3,
The better
pretty high
alliance.
loyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have Evelyn and Benny having a mutual unbreakable relationship towards one another. So how do you feel like that's gonna play into the fact that he's not on the secondary alliance with her?
I don't know how it's gonna work. I really don't. Do you think he's just using that alliance of Ford for Amber just to make her feel good and she's more loyal to the five person? that could be.
Maybe.
Mm.
Yeah. We still have Evelyn and Mike bonding. They have a really good relationship. Mike and Amber with a good relationship. Millie and Benny. Mike and Benny. Mike and Evelyn. Millie and Amber. Stretch and Mike. Millie and Evelyn bonding. And Benny and Mike. Still on Cryptola. It's the Spalding Giggles show.
Yeah.
No one has the idol. They still have a strong alliance, and we already know about
Mm.
their unbreakable. But now Mary and Spalding have extreme hatred.
Yeah, Mary's sick of his freaking laugh. Like she's sick of hearing it. It's gotta be.
Oh yeah. Um, Lydia and Giggles are bonding strongly. We still have some strong bonds with the others. Valentine, Ozzy, Tree, Ozzy, Ozzy, Mary not liking each other. Grabber, Ozzy not liking each other. Grabber and Mary not liking each other. Ozzy, Spalding. Grabber, Lydia.
Mm. Grabber's not looking too good.
All right, Horrifica. Count Orlok arrives on the Horrifica tribe. All right, the next challenge is Domino Effect.
Each castaway will stack a series of blocks on a multi-leveled platform, while avoiding tripwires, which could cause their blocks to tip and force them to start over. The goal is to arrange the blocks so they will fall like dominoes. Ultimately, this releases a ball, which will smash a tile. The winner of the duel will live to see another day on Horrifica Tribe. Now, for this, I can see either of them. Because Drooper is an animatronic, they are fairly precise. But Count Orlok, look at them hands. He's got to be like, you know, he's either going to be clumsy with them hands or he's going to be like very articulate. So this one is like a coin flip on who wins.
Yeah. Let's see.
Drooper.
Trooper. This is first.
And that's Count
So,
Orlok.
Count Orlok is eliminated. All right, Immunity Challenge.
Tooling around. On day one, both tribes were given a craftsman toolkit. Today's challenge will test how adept they've become at using those tools. Both tribes will make their way over a balance beam, where they will use a crowbar to open a crate and retrieve a shovel. The shovel will then be used to dig to find an axe, which will be used to chop a log that will release a rope holding two saws. The saws will be used to cut through a wall, releasing planks. The planks will be used to complete a ramp that will get the entire tribe to the top of the platform, where they must hammer 3 nails to break 3 tiles. The final step is to put the toolbox containing all the tools used in the challenge on top of the table on the platform. First tribe to complete all tasks would win the challenge. And it looks like Cryptala, once again, wins immunity. And they win a barbecue feast that consists of steak, sausages, vegetables, bread, condiments, and a barbecue grill. So your tribe's living the life right now.
Yeah, we're doing pretty well, even though there's quite a bit of dislike amongst some people.
Mm-hmm.
So over on Akuma, Stretch still has the idol, obviously. Um, oh, and it looks like quite a big event has happened with Tribe Alliance number 2.
Millie leaves the alliance. Do you think she leaves because she's not bonding as well with Stretch?
That could be a possibility. Yeah,
That's an
let's see
interesting
what else is
play.
going on.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why
so Stretch is targeting Millie.
Amber's
Amber
targeting
is targeting
Benny.
Benny. Millie's targeting Stretch. Benny is targeting Amber.
That's rich that Benny's considering somebody weak.
Um, Alliance 2 is targeting Millie,
Mmm.
but they're also considering splitting it between Amber.
See, they did that last time, but then it was unanimous. What's this
And
tribe
Tribe
thinking?
Alliance 2 is going for Stretch.
Okay.
So,
Mmm.
but they're also considering splitting it across Benny.
I don't think that's gonna happen. Benny's definitely not getting voted.
Oh,
Oh,
over
okay.
at Cryptola, Dr. Giggles finds a hidden immunity idol.
Right, okay.
Glenn and Tree have a major fight.
Oh no.
Spalding and Lydia bond. Lydia and Valentine have a small fight. We have a very strong alliance here with
Oh yeah.
them.
Oh,
And the
grabber!
Grabber
That's really
comes
good for
in.
him.
Yeah.
Okay. That is a chaotic alliance.
Yeah. All right. Tribal Council. Stretch has the idol. It's time to vote. If anyone has the idol and wants to play it, now's the time to do so. Stretch uses the Akuma tribe hidden immunity idol. Any votes cast against Stretch will not count. You
Smart
think this is
play.
for the right play for her here?
I do think it is to ensure that Millie or Amber gets voted. I think it is a very smart play.
All right, I'll read the votes. First vote, Stretch does not count. Millie, that's one vote, Millie. Four votes left. Amber, that's one vote, Amber. One vote, Millie. Three votes left. Millie, it's two votes, Millie. One vote, Amber. Two votes left. Benny, two votes, Millie. One vote, Amber. One vote, Benny. One vote left.
Oh man.
Amber. Final votes are two votes Amber, two votes Millie, one vote Benny, and no votes for Stretch because it was canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a tie and a revote. Those in the tie will not revote unless no one received votes on the original vote.
I feel like it's Millie.
First vote,
Yeah.
Millie. That's one vote Millie. Millie. That's two votes of Millie, two votes left. The fourth person voted out of Horror Survivor Season 2, Millie. That's three, that's enough. Final vote count was four votes. Millie. Millie, the tribe has spoken.
Mm. Amber's not happy about
Oh,
that though.
oh yeah, no. So Amber voted for Stretch. Benny voted for Millie. Evelyn voted for Millie. Mike voted for Amber, but then switched his vote to Millie.
Okay.
Millie voted for Benny.
Ah, Millie through.
And Stretch voted for Amber originally, but then voted for Millie on the revote.
Dang. So Millie could have saved herself. She just didn't vote for the stuffed animal. Okay.
All right. Episode 5. Is this kind of what you saw coming?
Uh, no, not at all. I wasn't expecting a clean sweep so far.
Yeah, it's been pretty unbalanced. So let's see if your tribe will keep it together and get a win.
Probably not.
Alright, so the Akuma tribe idol is now back in play and hidden. We have Tribe Alliance 2. Looks like Evelyn went back up to a 6. And then we have Alliance 3, with Amber being the lowest at 5.
Right.
We still got some of the same relationships. See if anything stands out.
I think if anyone dislikes it. Oh, okay. Stretch and Evelyn.
Stretch and Evelyn. It's a new one.
Yeah. And you have
We
Stretch and
got Stretch
Amber.
and Amber. Benny and Amber not bonding.
That's good.
And Evelyn and Amber, a mutual slight dislike.
Not looking good for Amber.
Giggles has the idol on Cryptala. The alliance kind of went down in strength in terms of their loyalties.
Hmm.
We got some of the, pretty much the same relations. Think there's anything that's different.
Pretty much
Nope,
everything's the
everything looks
same
the
other
same
than.
though.
Yeah. Alright. Is it Drooper's time?
Alright, Millie arrives at Horrifica. This challenge is
Cube Crisis. The two castaways would race to retrieve puzzle pieces and then assemble them into a cube. The first castaway to assemble the cube would win. Just think Millie's smart, but again, Drooper is literal AI. So I don't know how much of an impact that's going to have on the challenge. Is Millie smarter than AI? Hmm.
yeah,
And plus, Drooper can retrieve them easier if they're like massive. Okay.
Millie benefits first. So that means Trooper is eliminated.
The Kingpin of Horrifica. Gone.
Alright, the next challenge for immunity.
Smoko. One castaway from each tribe would be a caller to navigate their blindfolded tribe members through a maze to collect 4 bags of puzzle pieces. Once all 4 bags have been collected, the caller would use the pieces to solve a word puzzle, the sweet taste of victory. The first caller to solve the puzzle would win for their tribe. And once again, Cryptala tribe wins immunity. They also win coffee, tea, creamer, sugar, honey, pastries, and donuts.
I mean, Cryptala is a beast.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think this is Amber.
Alright. Over on Akuma, no one has to try it, but I like Idol currently. Amber is targeting Benny, Stretch is targeting Amber. Evelyn is targeting Stretch. Evelyn doesn't like Stretch. And Tribe Alliance 2 with Benny, Evelyn, Mike, and Benita are wanting to vote Amber out. Evelyn's loyalty went up pretty high to 7 now.
Mm.
And then over on Tribe Alliance 3, Amber, Evelyn, and Mike are wanting to vote Benny out.
That's
So, I
probably
mean,
not a
based
good
off the
answer.
numbers, it would be Amber's time to go.
Yeah, but why would you keep Benny when he's a literal stuffed animal? You're not gonna win any challenges with that, you know?
Yeah. So Giggles has the idol still. Giggles and Valentine bond slightly. And we have a new alliance form. Yeah,
Spalding?
Captain Spaulding, Giggles, Glenn, Lydia, and the Grabber.
Glenn is the biggest shock out of that.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like he's probably been working those just relationships.
Mm.
All right. So it's time to vote. If anyone has the idol and likes to play it, now is the time to do so. No one stands, so we'll read the votes. Amber. That's one vote, Amber. Amber. That's 2 votes, Amber. 3 votes left. Benny. That's 2 votes, Amber. 1 vote, Benny. 2 votes left. Benny. That's 2 votes, Amber. 2 votes, Benny. 1 vote left.
I think it's still Amber.
You think it's still Amber?
Yeah.
The person voted out of Fourth Bar Season 2. Amber. That's 3 votes, Amber. 2 votes, Benny.
Yeah,
Who
because
do you think that second vote for Benny was?
probably Mike. Yeah.
Yep. Interesting.
Wow. Amber gone already. My team is not the smartest if they're keeping Benny for so long. That's all I'm gonna say.
Alright, so it's a tribe of 4 taking on a tribe of
9.
9. I mean, I would feel like the simulation would be like, yeah, so now Cryptala has to go. We'll see. The status is on the tribes. So we got the same alliances. Evelyn and Mike are now on their own alliance with Amber gone.
Right.
Relationships, unbreakable relationship between Evelyn and Benny, Mike and Evelyn, Stretch and Mike bonding. Those are the same, and Stretch and Evelyn still don't like each other. On Cryptola, Giggles still has the idol. We have Captain Spaulding, Giggles, and Grabber alliance, and then we have the Captain Spaulding, Giggles, Glenn, Lydia Grabber alliance. Lydia and Giggles now have a mutual unbreakable with each other. Dree and Glenn also extremely hate each other.
Wow.
Mary and Spaulding have extreme hatred. Um, those are all the same. So Amber now arrives on Horrifica. How do you feel see Amber and Millie interacting with each other now?
It
And the being only two.
it sucks that it's like this, but I would be fine with either one of these people winning. But I think I'm slightly leaning towards Amber because I think Amber would do better come merge.
Yeah. Great. So our challenge for Horrifica.
Is grapple and maze. The two castaways would use a grappling hook to retrieve 3 bags that hold a ball. The castaways would then use one of the balls to work a labyrinth. The first castaway to finish the labyrinth would win. Uh, I don't know who'd win this.
I think it would be even split. I feel like either of
Yeah,
them could definitely take the win.
that's what I'm thinking.
The winner, Millie.
Okay,
So that does mean Amber is eliminated.
that sucks. My girl. Alright, beach balls. Two castaways from each tribe would shoot balls from a slingshot, while the other members of the tribe would try to catch the balls. For every ball caught, the castaway would score a point for their tribe. The first tribe to score 5 points would win. A ball shot by an opposing tribe would still count as a point for the other tribe. Cryptala tribe wins immunity for the 6th time in a row. They also win a trip to a mountain overlooking San Juan del Sur, a picnic lunch as well.
Wow.
So,
Uh, alright. So Benny and Evelyn find something in common over on Akuma. Stretch is targeting Evelyn considering her weak. Evelyn is targeting Stretch because she does not like her. So we have the alliance must now turn on themselves, and we have Evelyn and Mike on a very high loyalty. I think Stretch is
yeah.
going to be the major vote
Oh,
here.
absolutely. It's going to be 3-1.
Over on Cryptola, Spalding and Valentine are now bonding slightly. And the Grabber leads the secondary alliance with Spalding, Giggles, Glenn, and Lydia.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's finding something annoying between Glenn or Lydia.
Maybe.
We do have a new alliance form, which is Lydia, Ozzy, Tree, and Valentine, which I think is a very good alliance.
I agree with that. I wonder how Lydia's going to factor into that because she's close with, like, Giggles and Spalding, right?
Yeah, so she's
Mm.
kind of on both sides, the good guys and the bad guy side.
She's a part of 3 alliances. She's a part of the most right now. So Lydia's in the best spot.
Alright, if anyone has any items to play, no one has the idol, so it's time to vote. First vote, Benny. It's one vote, Benny. Stretch, one vote Benny, one vote Stretch, two votes left. Stretch, two votes Stretch, one vote Benny, one vote left. Sixth person voted out of Horror Survivor Season 2 is Stretch, a unanimous decision.
Yeah.
Stretch, the tribe has spoken. Sucks to see her go.
Oh.
I was like, what the hell?
But yeah. And there were three. Wow. And they kept the fucking doll.
You kind of said it. It's gonna attach to one person and then be like,
Right. That's exactly what Benny does.
wow. All right. The idol is hidden. No one finds it. We have our same three people. Our same relationships. We still have Captain Spaulding, Giggles, and Grabber. Spaulding, Giggles, Glenn, and Lydia. And then Lydia, Ozzy, Tree, and Valentine.
Mm.
We still have the same relationships there. Um, Extreme hatred. Grabber really hates Lydia, so maybe that's probably why he decided to leave that secondary alliance.
That would make
Makes
sense.
sense.
Yeah.
Glenn feels a strong bond towards Captain Spaulding. I could see that definitely.
Mhm.
Stretch arrives at the Horrifica tribe. She faces now Millie to stay in the game.
Hmm. Okay.
Alright, and our challenges.
Concentration. Each castaway will have their memory tested with this challenge. Scattered in the arena are pairs of matching symbols. Each round, the duelers will flip over two symbols. If the two symbols match, the duelers score a point. First person to score 5 points stays alive in the game. I think Stretch wins.
Yeah, I'm kind of behind Stretch. I want to see her kind of redeem herself.
Hmm. There we go.
And Stretch finishes first. So Millie is eliminated.
Man, that hurts. Alright. Crash Course. Both tribes will race through a series of obstacles, working together to collect bags of balls along the way. Once they've cleared all the obstacles, they must shoot the balls into a basket. First tribe to get all 6 balls in their basket wins immunity and reward. Gotta say, I'm sick of seeing balls in challenges. Anyway, uh, Cryptala tribe, once again, unsurprisingly, wins immunity. They also win a picnic on top of a volcano on Amatepe or Ometepe Island.
Yeah.
So this
Man, man, man.
is oh,
Wow.
we
This changes the game.
how the hell did Benny find a fucking idol?
So Benny finds the idol for the Akuma tribe. Benny's impressed with the rest of the team. He's probably really excited that he found this idol.
Oh
Benny is targeting Mike. Evelyn's targeting Benny. It's gonna be a bloodbath.
wow! Yeah,
I think this is gonna be Mike. Mike's gonna end up
yeah.
going.
Benny, if
Well,
Benny's smart, he
well,
places idol
yeah.
just to ensure.
Lydia has a major meltdown from the Cryptola tribe.
Twice.
Nice. So we have the Cryptola tribe alliance here, and Lydia decides that she needs to leave it. I think she
Hmm,
might be getting overwhelmed between the two alliances that she's in.
that could be.
Alright, Benny has the idol. And looks like Benny will use the idol, so any of us cast against Benny will not count. I'll read the votes. First vote, Benny does not count. Benny does not
So
count.
it all comes down to who Benny voted for.
The seventh person voted out of Horse, however, season 2, Mike. Mike, the tribe has spoken. Wow.
Damn.
I bet Evelyn is gobsmacked.
Benny is just thrilled. He's like, "Oh wow, I love you." Like, okay, so now there's only two. They have to like merge or tribe swap some shit.
Yeah, it looks like there's a merge coming
Okay, thank
in
fuck.
this episode. All right. At the Heurifica tribe, there's two castaways, Mike and Stretch. They will compete, and the winner will return to the game. All right, side. What is this challenge?
Chimney sweep. The two castaways would brace themselves with their arms between two walls while standing barefoot on 2 foot pegs. Every 15 minutes, the castaways would move down to smaller foot pegs. When the castaways reached the third set of foot pegs, they would try to remain on them as long as they could. The last castaway to remain on their pegs would win. Why are the challenges on Redemption Island like better like in designs? I don't
No
understand.
balls.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Returning to the captain.
I think I think Stretch can win because her name is literally Stretch.
Touche.
Yeah.
Stretch is
Eliminated.
eliminated first. Mike is the last remaining. He will return to the game. He'll also receive a clue to
Oh.
the hidden immunity idol. He throws it into the fire.
So he's like, I don't need this.
Wow.
Okay.
There we have the merged tribe.
Okay.
Beelzebub.
Yeah, Beelzebub.
Beelzebub tribe.
This looks like a pretty balanced tribe.
Yeah.
No complaints here.
All right. Out on the Beelzebub tribe, Giggles has the Cryptala tribe idol still. We still have Captain Spaulding, Giggles, and Grabber, and we also have Benny and Evelyn. Captain Spaulding, Giggles, Glenn, and Lydia. Ozzy, Tree, and Valentine. Um, Relationship wise, we have Valentine and Ozzy now with an unbreakable relationship. They still have extreme hatred. They still have an unbreakable relationship. Ozzy and Grabber have an extreme hatred towards one another. Valentine and Glenn have a mutual unbreakable relationship. That's different.
Hmm.
Glenn and Tree hate each other. Grabber and Lydia still dislike
So
each
it's not
other,
hatred
as well
anymore.
as Ozzy and Glenn.
They did hate each other.
Yeah. So they might be coming around to each other.
Yeah.
We'll have to just see how that plays out. Next
Rollerball.
meeting challenge.
Next challenge is called Rollerball. Ball. Can't think of anything else, huh, Jeff? Um, Each castaway would have to stand on a small wooden log while balancing a ball on a wooden disc. At regular intervals, a ball would be added until the castaway would be balancing 3 balls. Should any of the balls fall off the disc, or if they step off the log, the castaway would be out of the challenge. The last castaway to not drop a ball or step off the log would win. Survivors ready? Grabber wins. Okay. I
I
feel like he. I don't know
think
if
the
he
Grabber would
needs
win.
that, but I don't think it's bad for him to win that because people don't like him.
Right, over at the tribe now, the Beelzebub tribe idol is not currently hidden. Giggles has a Cryptala one. Captain Spaulding's impressing the rest of the team. Evelyn and Ozzy have a major fight. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Glenn and the Grabber have a minor disagreement. We have Spaulding targeting Mary. He extremely despises Mary. Glenn targeting Tree. He extremely despises Tree. Mary targeting Spalding, extremely despises him. Tree extremely despises Glenn, is targeting him. So we have the Alliance 1 of Spalding, Giggles, and Grabber wanting to vote Mary out. Benny and Evelyn wanting to vote Giggles out.
Oh wow.
Captain Spaulding, Giggles, Glenn, and Lydia wanting to vote Tree. And then we have Ozzy, Tree, and Valentine wanting to vote Mary. So some of our final targets are Mary Mason, Tree Gelbin, and Dr. Giggles. I'm not surprised that they're none of your tribe members.
Yeah,
My tribe has had to deal with each other for a very long time, so
yeah.
I think
So
they
they're
are over.
ready. Yeah.
All right. Giggles has the Cryptala idol. Grabber has immunity. It's time to vote. If anyone would like to play the idol, they can play it now. No one stands. I'll read the votes. First vote, Dr. Giggles. That's one vote, Dr. Giggles. Tree. That's one vote, Dr. Giggles. One vote, Tree. 10 votes left. Mary. One vote, Giggles. One vote, Mary. One vote, Tree. 9 votes left.
Mm.
Tree. That's 2 votes, Tree. One vote, Giggles. One vote, Mary. 8 votes left. Giggles. That's 2 votes, Giggles. 2 votes, Tree. 1 vote, Mary. 7 votes left. Tree. 3 votes Tree, 2 votes Giggles, 1 vote Mary. 6 votes left. Mary. That's 3 votes Tree, 2 votes Giggles, 2 votes Mary. 5 votes left. Mary. That's 3 votes Mary, 3 votes Tree, 2 votes Giggles, 4 votes left.
Gosh, I think it's Mary or Tree though.
Mary. That's 4 votes Mary, 3 votes Tree, 2 votes Giggles, 3 votes left. Mary. That's 5 votes Mary, 3 votes Tree, 2 votes Giggles, 2 votes left. The 8th person voted out of Horse River, Season 2, Mary. That's 6.
Wow.
That's enough.
Okay.
Mary, the tribe, has spoken.
Or Mary. First boot off her tribe. So Benny voted Giggles. I'm assuming Evelyn did too. Yeah.
Yep.
Glenn voted Tree. Lydia voted Tree. Mary voted Tree. The rest voted for Mary.
All right. We have the episode 9, part 1.
Okay.
For our tribe, we still have Giggles with the idol. It's very smart of him not to just instantly play it last week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also surprised to see Mike not come back to Evelyn in any alliance as well.
I'm shocked too. I mean, yeah. I don't know how to really feel.
They still have an unbreakable relationship mutually with each other.
Okay.
Everyone else still feeling a certain way. Captain Spaulding and Benny have a mutual strong dislike towards one another,
That's not
so
good for Benny.
that's gonna probably play a big factor. And we have next immunity challenge.
Miso soup. Each castaway will dig to retrieve a club and use it to smash a tile. The first 6 move on to the next round, where they must submerge their head in a water trough. Take in a mouthful of water and then crawl under the trough to spit the water into a bowl, which fills up a tube. The first 3 to fill up the tube move on to the final round, where they must solve a block puzzle. The first person to get the puzzle right wins immunity, and the grabber wins immunity.
Wow, back to back.
He is a really brawly guy, though.
That is true. All right, over at the tribe now. Giggles has a major meltdown this today.
That's not good.
One that's gonna have to lead him to play his idol. Benny and Grabber have a small fight. Do you think Benny is pretty upset that Grabber has won twice in a row?
Yeah, he's not happy about it. He wants Evelyn to win.
Some individual targets. We have Lydia targeting Ozzy. She despises Ozzy. Glenn targeting Tree. Tree targeting Glenn as last time. We have our alliance of Spalding, Giggles, and Grabber looking to eliminate Ozzy.
Oh man.
Benny and Evelyn trying to eliminate Dr. Giggles.
Once again.
Spalding, Giggles, Glenn, and Lydia also targeting Ozzy. And we have Ozzy, Tree, and Valentine targeting Lydia.
Hmm.
Some of our final targets this week are Lydia, Ozzy, and Dr. Giggles.
Oh wow. I think it's Ozzy though, from what I've seen here.
It would make sense that it ended up being Ozzy.
Hmm.
Alright, so Giggles has the idol, Grabber has the immunity necklace. If anyone has the idol and wants to play it now, now's the time to do so. No one stands. I'll read the votes. First vote, Dr. Giggles. It's one vote, Dr. Giggles. Lydia, that's one vote Giggles, one vote Lydia, 9 votes left. Ozzy, that's one vote Giggles, one for Lydia, one Ozzy, 8 votes left. Lydia, 2 votes Lydia, one vote Giggles, one vote Ozzy, 7 left. Giggles, that's 2 for Giggles, 2 for Lydia, one for Ozzy, 6 votes left. Lydia, that's
Wow.
3 votes Lydia, 2 for Giggles, one for Ozzy, 5 votes left. Ozzy, that's 3 for Lydia, 2 for Giggles, 2 for Ozzy, 4 votes left. Ozzy, that's 3 for Lydia, 3 for Ozzy, 2 for Giggles, 3 votes left. Giggles, that's 3 for Dr. Giggles, 3 for Lydia, 3 for Ozzy, 2 votes left.
Oh man.
Ozzy, that's 4 for Ozzy, 3 for Giggles, 3 for Lydia, 1 vote left.
It's gonna be Ozzy.
The ninth person voted up Horror Survivor Season 2, Ozzy, that's 5.
And that's
Ozzy, the
enough.
tribe, has spoken.
Alright. By the way, uh, Austin, I'll be right back. I need to deal with something.
Yep.
Isaiah Mark, you gotta be quiet. I'm trying to record. You can't be making all this noise. Yeah, that's making noise. You're banging the wall. You're shaking the whole house. Why are you up here? I don't know where Goldie is. Then why aren't you in there with her? Don't you want to go back? Yeah. Give me a hug. Give me a hug goodbye. What kind of pizza do you want? What shape? Okay. You want me to tell you what place has triangle pepperoni? Little Caesars. So ask Grandma if you can get Little Caesars. That's the pepperoni triangle. It's called Little Caesars. All right. I'm back. I'm sorry about that.
You're good.
All right.
Alright, so yeah, Benny voted for Giggles, Spalding voted for Ozzy, Giggles voted for Ozzy, Evelyn voted for Giggles, Glenn voting for Ozzy, Lydia voting for Ozzy, Mike voting for Giggles, Ozzy voting for Lydia, Grabber votes for Ozzy, Tree for Lydia, and Valentine for Lydia.
Man.
Alright, we have our second part of the episode. Giggle still has the idol. He's been holding on to it for a while. He's been pretty smart to hold on to it and not just instinctively play it because he's been nominated.
Mm-hmm.
He still has his lines with Spalding and Grabber as well. Grabber less loyal than Spalding and him. Benny and Evelyn still in a strong relationship. Then we have Spalding, Giggles, Glenn, and Lydia. Glenn being the least loyal of that group. We have now a two-person alliance, Tree and Valentine. And we have our relationships, which we skipped the ones that we already know of. Giggles and Benny now having extreme hatred towards one another as well, which is kind of fitting with this alliance that they have. Um, and Valentine feels a strong bond to Tree. And we have the next community challenge.
Gang Hang. That's not a sus name at all. Um, the cast the castaways will hang from a bar for as long as they can. After 20 minutes, they will be allowed to use only their legs to hold them up. Once they drop from the bar, they are out of the challenge. Last person left hanging wins immunity, and Dr. Giggles takes it.
I mean,
Hmm.
that is a big man with probably quite a bit of endurance, people to be a doctor.
Right.
So, Dr. Giggles now has immunity as well as the idol, which means that he's probably going to be safe for a little while.
Oh yeah. He doesn't have to worry at all.
So Spalding and Valentine have a minor disagreement, has a lasting impact. Glenn rests at camp to restore their energy. We have Mike targeting the grabber. He despises the grabber.
Yeah, I knew
Tree is
you
still
wouldn't like
targeting
him.
Glenn. Right. The grabber is targeting Valentine. He dislikes Valentine. Spalding is targeting Benny. He despises Benny. Giggles is targeting Evelyn. He strongly dislikes Evelyn.
Mm.
Glenn's still targeting Tree. Over in terms of our group targets, Spalding, Grabber, and Giggles are targeting Benny. Benny and Evelyn are targeting Spalding. Spalding, Giggles, Glenn, and Lydia are targeting Benny. Tree and Valentine are targeting the Grabber.
Okay.
So our main three um in line of target is the Grabber, Benny, and Captain Spalding.
Mm. Do you think it's Benny's time?
It could be very possible that Benny might go if they're all going to stick through those votes.
Hmm.
All right, so Giggles has immunity. It's time to vote. If anyone has the hidden idol and wants to play it, now it's time to do so. No one stands. I'll read the votes. First vote, Benny. That's one vote, Benny. Captain Spaulding. One vote, Benny. One vote, Captain Spaulding. 8 votes left. Grabber. That's one vote, Benny. One for Spaulding. One for Grabber. 7 votes left. One for Benny. One for Spaulding. 6 votes left. Grabber. That's three for Grabber. One for Benny. One for Spaulding. 5 votes left.
Man.
Benny. That's three for Grabber. Two for Benny. One for Spaulding. Four are left. Benny. That's 3 votes for Benny. Three for Grabber. Or one for Spaulding with 3 votes left. Spaulding. That's three for Benny. Three for Grabber. Two for Spaulding. 2 votes left. Benny. That's four for Benny. Three for Grabber. Two for Spaulding. 1 vote left. That the person voted out of Horrors of Ever Season 2, Benny.
He was here for a long time, to be fair.
Yeah, you're getting a little sick of Plush Man. Alright, Benny voted for Spaulding. Spaulding voted for Benny. Giggles vote for Benny. Evelyn for Spaulding. Glenn for Benny. Lydia for Benny. Mike for the Grabber. Grabber for Benny. Tree for Grabber. And Valentine for Grabber. Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was interesting because yeah, Mike did not vote with his well, he doesn't have an alliance anymore, so yeah, I guess that
Right.
would be. I would really be curious to see if Mike can get in with Tree and Valentine though.
I feel like he
They
could.
share the same dislikes. So here we have um our final top nine uh of the season. I'm sure you're surprised to see a bit of them here.
Yeah. Some of them not really since of what like happened with this game.
Yeah. This season has been very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's interesting in the way that you would like it.
Um, it's just it's interesting in a way. I'll just say that. I don't know how I feel about it so far.
All right, well, we're gonna go and see what the tribe is doing. We still have our alliance with Grabber, Spalding, and Giggles. And then also Spalding, Giggles, Glenn, and Lydia. We also have Tree and Valentine. We have Mike and Evelyn still with their Unbreakable, Glenn and Spalding with their Unbreakable. I'd be interested to see if anything more happens with Lydia, because she is a little low. Well, I guess Glenn is low. Hmm.
Uh,
But not as strong.
hmm. I'd say
I get Grabber and Lydia disliking. Right, so Benny arrives at the Horrifica tribe. We have now three castaways on Horrifica. Benny, Mary, and Ozzy.
okay.
They must advance in a competition to remain in the game. This week's or this episode's challenge is
House of Cards. The three castaways would use 150 wooden tiles to build a house of cards. The first two castaways to build a tower to a height of 8 feet would remain in the game. I. How would Benny use his hand for that? I mean, I mean, if you look closely in the picture you have for him, he is holding a knife, and he doesn't have any fingers. So I'm, you know,
you gotta just spend a little bit of belief. I think my big question would be the height of it being 8 feet
right. I.
tall.
How can you do that?
Now, my other concerning castaway in this scenario would be Ozzy. I don't think Ozzy has the the patience to be able to build as quickly as he might need to.
I agree.
So, surprisingly, Ozzy is able to finish first.
Okay.
So, my guess might have been that maybe Mary and Benny were then struggling a little bit more. Maybe, slower is better.
Possibly.
And Mary finishes second, which means that Benny fails to complete the challenge on time and is eliminated.
Not complaining.
Right, in the immunity challenge.
Alright, Mayan Pizza. The castaways would compete to finish a multi stage puzzle. The castaways would start by running around a post in order to spin off a disc that would be used as a puzzle base. They would then solve a puzzle that would fit within the base. The first six castaways that finished their puzzle would move on to the next round. In the final round, the completed base would be at the center of a second puzzle. The first castaway to finish their second puzzle would win. And Tree wins. She needed that.
Yeah, for sure. She is on the outs.
Oh, big time.
Um, and I think that this will definitely change the game up quite a bit. Hopefully, to keep it, surprising, and not another easy vote.
Mm-hmm.
So in the tribe, we still have Giggles with the immunity idol. Giggles and Grabber find something in common. It looks like we have a new alliance form with the original Evelyn Abbott and Mike Schmidt.
Let's
Were you
go.
expecting that?
I was hoping for it, so I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, I think that they really needed to reconnect after that.
Oh, absolutely. They're all they had left.
Some individual
I'm not
targets
quite sure how to
is
help you with that.
Valentine targeting the
Siri.
Grabber.
I'm not quite sure how to help
We
you
have
with that.
Free targeting Giggles. The Grabber targeting Mike. Giggles targeting Evelyn. So we have Captain Spaulding, Giggles, and Grabber voting for Evelyn most likely, and then we have Captain Spaulding, Giggles, Glenn, and Lydia voting Evelyn as well.
Man,
Bree and Valentine voting for Grabber, and Evelyn and Mike Schmidt voting for Grabber.
they need a grabber. He's a challenge beast.
He is a challenge beast. He is very smart. I mean, he had the
Mm-hmm.
original, um, like double back-to-back immunity wins. So
Exactly.
here we go. Giggles has the hidden immunity idol. Tree has the immunity necklace. Time to vote. If anyone has the idol and wants to play, now it's time to do so. No one stands. I'll read the votes. First vote, Grabber. That's one vote, Grabber. Evelyn. One vote, Evelyn. One vote, Grabber. 7 votes left. Grabber. 2 votes, Grabber. 1 for Evelyn. 6 remain. Evelyn. That's 2 for Evelyn. 2 for Grabber. 5 remain. Grabber. That's 3 for Grabber. 2 for Evelyn. 4 remain. Evelyn. That's 3 for Evelyn. 3 for
Jesus.
Grabber. 3 votes left. Grabber. That's 4 for Grabber. 3 for Evelyn. 2 remain. Evelyn. That's 4 for Evelyn. 4 for
Alright,
Grabber. 1 vote
so
left.
who do you think gets the boot? I think that it's Evelyn.
I think it's Evelyn. Do you want it to be Evelyn?
Honestly, no, because I like an underdog story. And Grabber is not an underdog here. He's part of a good alliance with Spalding and Giggles. So I think if they vote Grabber, they break up a really strong core.
Yeah. So the 11th person voted out of Horror Survivor Season 2, Evelyn.
Yeah.
Evelyn, the tribe has spoken. I think she is strong enough to make it through Horrifica tribe and return.
Agreed.
So as expected, Spalding, Giggles, Glenn, Lydia, and Grabber all voted for Evelyn.
Hmm.
Alright, we have our final 8.
Who would have thought that out of my tribe, Mike Schmidt would make it the longest?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he could
Maybe an early
possibly have
boot.
been there. Um, he was a thought for me in an early boot as well,
And
but
technically,
I
he did get
decided
voted, but
against.
you know.
He did, yep, but he did make his way back in. Some other ones I'm big surprised are probably the top 3 first people in the tribe: Spalding, Giggles, and Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what was really smart of other than the fact that my tribe did not go to tribal council until like the very end was the start of the very strong alliance with Spalding and Giggles leading. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, Giggles, Spalding, and
here
Grabber control this game.
for sure. All right, tribe status. We still got the hidden idol, Spalding, Giggles, and Grabber. Giggles being the highest loyalty. Spalding, Giggles, Glenn, and Lydia all being equal. Tree and Valentine being equal. Valentine and Lydia have extreme mutual hatred.
Mm.
Um, Everything else, we do have Valentine and Glenn having a mutual unbreakable relationship, so it makes me wonder if Glenn would vote Valentine out.
I don't. No.
I feel like it would have to be very circumstantial of who the other person was, but I feel like Glenn would probably go to bat for Valentine.
I agree. I think Glenn would.
Alright, so Vinland arrives to Horrifica, and they must compete in their challenge to remain in the game. What is today's challenge?
The challenge for today is shuffleboard. Each castaway will have one shuffleboard and three pucks. The goal is to slide the puck across the board through the obstacles and into the end zone. If any part of the puck touches the end zone, then they score a point. The first two to land all three of their pucks in the end zone stay alive. I feel like dude, I just I don't know if Evelyn wins this. I want her to so bad though.
I could see her doing well. I don't know how much experience any of them have playing shuffleboard
Right.
particularly. Um, Mary doesn't really give me shuffleboard queen,
Definitely
but
not.
maybe she has the precision like she does with plastic surgery.
That's what I was thinking.
So let's find out. Evelyn finishes
Oh, let's
first,
go. I'm happy about that. Oh,
and Ozzy finishes
so
second.
yeah, you're right.
Mary
Mary,
fails to complete. She is eliminated.
she's fine though. All right.
Logjam.
The castaways would be randomly paired up. The two in each pair will face off in a log rolling competition, wherein the person who falls into the water is out of the challenge. The winners of the preliminaries move on to the next round. The finalists will face off. The last person remaining on the side of the log wins immunity. And Mike wins immunity. He needed that.
Yes. But that's not all he wins.
He also wins a whole chocolate cake.
Not the chocolate.
Okay. Yeah, chocolate. Alright,
Alright,
Mike
and
shares
Mike
the
is
reward
there
with
with
Tree and
two.
Lydia.
Interesting, because they.
And they win a
Yeah.
whole chocolate cake as well.
Yeah, Lydia and Tree are on two separate
Alliance.
alliances.
Do you
What
think
is. What
that's
do you think Mike's plan is?
to get them to backstab their alliances, maybe?
That would be very big brain energy there.
Or maybe convince Lydia to join him and then to say, hey, Lydia, we're at the bottom of the totem poles here. You're in an alliance, sure, but you're at the bottom of it. You know, Spalding
Yeah.
and Giggles, they like Glenn more than you. He could try saying that and spinning it and say, hey, I know you might not like care for the rest of us, but if you want to make it further in this game, it is smarter for you to do that.
Yeah. I'm curious to see if he will
This
get them
works.
to live.
Yeah,
Alright. In the tribe, Mike and Tree did end up bonding strongly, so he at least got one on his side.
that's good.
Maybe Tree can bring him into her alliance?
Maybe.
Alright, so we do have a new alliance for him, though.
Ooh, Glenn, Mike, and Valentine.
That's an interesting pairing. It's not what anything I would have saw coming, because it's not Tree or Lydia.
Right.
It's part of their own alliance.
So, do you think Valentine and Glenn, since they do have a bond together, they were like, Mike's a loner. We can pull him in. That's another vote.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, that would make sense.
Right. But
We have some targets. We have Valentine still targeting Grabber, Lydia targeting Valentine, Tree targeting Glenn.
Tree needs to get over herself.
So Captain Spaulding, Giggles, and Grabber want to vote Valentine out. Same thing. Captain Spaulding, Giggles, Glenn, and Lydia, Valentine, Tree, and Valentine, Grabber. Final two for the targets this week are Valentine and the Grabber.
I think this might be a tie.
It
I think
could be.
I think Grabber, Spalding, Giggles, Lydia vote Valentine, and everybody else will vote Grabber.
So the real question though is because Valentine and Glenn have a unbreakable relationship. It's gonna be put
Exactly,
to the test here.
but Glenn doesn't have that with the Grabber, and Glenn
Yeah,
would
so will he?
100% value that relationship over some dude he doesn't really know.
Yeah. We don't get to see what this new alliance is targeting either.
I think it's safe to assume they're targeting Grabber.
Would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is gonna be a big tribal council. Giggles has the hidden immunity idol, and Mike has the necklace. It's time to vote. If anyone has the idol and wants to play it, now's the time to do so. No one stands. I'll read the votes. First vote, Grabber. It's one for Grabber. Valentine's one vote Grabber, one vote Valentine, 6 votes left. Grabber. That's two for Grabber, one for Valentine, 5 left. Valentine. That's two each with 4 votes left. Grabber. That's 3 votes Grabber, 2 votes Valentine, 3 votes left. Valentine. That's three each with 2 votes remaining. Grabber. It's 4 votes Grabber, 3 votes Valentine, 1 vote left.
Do you think someone flipped? Oh no!
Final vote is 4 for Grabber, 4 for Valentine. That's a tie and revote. Those in tie will not revote. This is the first vote. Grabber. It's one for Grabber. Valentine. That's one Grabber, one Valentine with 4 left. Valentine. That's two for Valentine, one for Grabber, 3 left. Grabber. That's two each with 2 votes remaining. Grabber. That's 3 votes Grabber, 2 votes Valentine, 1 vote left. 12th person vote out of 4 Survivor Season 2. Grabber.
Wow, they did it. That is
Final count is 4-2.
I dare I say that is the biggest vote of the season.
Yeah.
Who would have thought
What
Grabber
an
getting voted out would
upset
have
for
been
him.
just like that, you know?
Are you also in the same thought that you think that this one person ended up flipping their vote?
Yes,
You think Glenn was the one?
I agree. I think it was Glenn. Glenn was the deciding factor. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
They they voted Grabber
Wow.
both times.
Good, you know, good for Glenn. Lydia voted for. Lydia
Lydia.
flipped. She's the flipper.
Wow. Yeah, she wanted to flip to hope to avoid the deadlock.
Mm. Wow. Okay.
The twist, there's a second immunity challenge followed by a second vote. What is this challenge?
Flashback. The castaways would test their memory by having to memorize a series of symbols as shown by Jeff. The castaways would have to show the symbols in the order they saw them. If they showed the wrong symbol, they would be out of the challenge. The castaways who is able to show the most symbols correctly wins immunity. And Mike wins.
Another big win for Mike.
Yeah, again, he needs that.
He really does.
Imagine Mike wins, dude. The whole thing.
All right. On the tribe, Giggles still has the hidden
You know what?
immunity
I
idol with Mike,
I
now the
do
necklace.
you think before we scroll down more, do you think Giggles plays his idol now since Grabber got voted?
It's a possibility that Giggles could do that. I mean, the numbers are kind of they're very close. I mean, it's Spalding, Giggles, Glenn, and Lydia, and then but also it's Glenn, Mike, and Valentine. But then it's also Tree and Valentine. The
Right.
his numbers aren't fully secure.
Yeah, the only number he knows he has is Spalding. Lydia flipped on him in the revotes. Glenn flipped on him to begin with.
Yeah.
And he knows Valentine and
Well then,
Mike and Tree are not going to vote with him.
Yeah, those. Yeah. So right now, there's a 2-2 with 3 votes like in the air.
Do we think he's cocky
Or you
enough
could
not to play
say,
it?
I mean, he's been pretty straightforward with him not wanting to play it at all because we've seen idols come before and they get played almost instantly and they get no votes.
Right.
So Giggles has been the first one to really hold his idol and still get votes.
Hmm.
I'm just curious to know if he has shared this with Spalding, if they both know he has this idol.
Hmm. I don't. He might. I think he does. I think if anyone, he does talk to Spalding about it, and maybe Grabber he talked to.
Yeah, this is
But
the
yeah,
first also tribal council that we don't know what the new targets are.
yeah, we have no idea what could happen here. For all we know, Glenn could
So
go back to targeting Tree and vice versa.
yeah. If anyone has the hidden immuno idol, like to play it, now's the time to do so. No one stands.
Wow.
I'll
Okay.
read the votes. First vote, Tree. It's one vote, Tree. Dr. Giggles. That's one vote, Dr. Giggles, one vote, Tree, with 5 votes left. Dr. Giggles. That's 2 vote Giggles, 1 vote Tree, 4 votes left. I'm sure we can both say it's safe to assume those votes are Tree and Valentine's votes.
Probably. If not them, Mike is one of them.
Tree. That's 2 votes Giggles, 2 votes Tree, 3 votes left. Again, we can probably it's safe to assume that those Tree votes are Giggles and Spalding.
Probably.
Giggles. That's 3 for Giggles, 2 for Tree, 2 votes left. Clearly safe to assume Mike is one of those 3 votes.
Yeah.
Tree. That's 3 votes Tree, 3 votes Giggles with 1 vote left.
So this last vote is either Lydia or Glenn.
I have a higher feeling it would be Lydia's vote because Glenn already doesn't like Tree.
Right. Hmm. But do you think
I,
Lydia would be
as much as I
paranoid
don't,
and vote
as much as I
Giggles?
don't want to have her voted out, I think this next vote is Tree. I would be very surprised to see Giggles go and get blindsided.
With an idol in his pocket.
Yeah.
If they get Giggles out here, then they don't need to do anything big for the rest of the game. They just did the best thing they could do.
Yeah. All right. So the 13th person voted out of Horror Survivor Season 2, Tree.
Man.
Tree of the tribe has spoken. As we assume, all the votes Spalding, Giggles, Glenn, and Lydia were all for Tree. Mike was supposed to vote for Tree but disagreed.
Okay.
So I'm assuming there was a
Glenn wanted to take
Glenn
him in. Yeah.
influencing. Wow, okay.
Man.
So this is our top 6 of season 2. Their their gameplay has been fairly interesting.
Very. Hmm. He still has
Right,
that
so
idol.
he still has that idol. He's holding on to it until the very last moment he can play it, probably. Or maybe he's going out of the competition in the finals with the idol.
Maybe.
So we still have Spalding and Giggles with their original alliance. Spalding, Giggles, Glenn, and Lydia. Glenn, Mike, and Valentine. This is now a Valentine's only alliance.
Yeah.
We still have our same relationships. Valentine hating Lydia. Um, So Valentine and Giggles have a mutual bond now. It's also interesting, but he also has a mutual dislike with Captain Spaulding.
Mm,
I wonder if that could play a factor in. Could Valentine convince Giggles to
to vote Mike and not him.
possibly flip? Yeah. Alright, so the grabber arrives on Horrifica as well as Tree. So we now have 4 castaways on Horrifica: Evelyn Abbott, Ozzy Jones, Grabber, and Tree Gelman. They must advance the competition to remain in the game. What is the game?
It is called Rock Block. The four castaways would compete in the first ever four-person duel on the Horrifica tribe. The castaway were to take turns throwing a metal ball in an attempt to break four tiles one by one. The first three to break all tiles remain on the island, while the last one to break the tiles will be sent home. Hmm.
So, who do we think could be sent home here?
I think it might be. I think it might be Tree.
Is that who you would also want to?
No, I don't want to see Grabber. I want to see him go because I don't want to see him have the chance to return because I feel like it wouldn't be as interesting.
Hmm. I see, I see. Alright, well, our first one to complete the challenge is Evelyn, so she will remain on Horrifica for
Okay.
another day. Following Evelyn is Grabber,
Mm-hmm.
and which means that we have Ozzy and Tree at the bottom too. Ozzy finishes third, so Tree fails to complete and is eliminated.
That sucks.
For
Oh,
the finishing first, Evelyn wins a visit from a loved one.
that it's her husband.
She can give it up to everyone on Horrifica, or everyone on the merged tribe can have the reward. Wow.
Do you?
So
She.
what do you think she would do?
I think she'd want to see Lee, man. I mean,
Alright, let's find out.
I.
She gives the reward to everyone on the merged tribe.
Mm,
I feel like that would be kind of fitting her character. If she's trying to get, back on the good graces of some people in the merged tribe,
right.
she would be like strong enough to be able to not have that visit.
Mm.
All right, an immunity challenge.
Step on up. The remaining castaways would race to assemble 18 puzzle steps in a staircase. Each person could only carry one step at a time and must replace all the steps from or must place all the steps correctly from bottom to top. First castaway to make it to the top would win immunity, and Mike Schmidt wins immunity once again. He knows he needs to keep winning these or he's just gone.
Yeah, he has really come back into this season and knows how he needs to play.
He's showing why he deserved to come back after Redemption Island.
All right, so Giggles still has the hidden immunity isle from Cryptala. And Mike makes the decision to leave the Beelzebub Tribe
I
Alliance
don't
with
know if
Glenn
that'll
and
work.
Valentine.
Mike.
Do you think that was
Hmm.
the wrong move?
Here's the thing. What he could do is he could join Giggles and Spalding and say, "Hey, I know who flipped on you guys to get Grabber out," and
Ooh, that would be a smart decision.
he could throw Glenn under the bus so he's not on the bottom two anymore. It'll be Valentine and Glenn. Do you think
Yeah,
Mike would do that to Glenn?
you know, uh, it's a 50-50. I mean, I could definitely that's a pretty good argument to make. Um,
I think that's
I
such a good
mean,
move.
It is a power move, but I feel like the power move as well is to get the power out of here. As I mean, we know Giggles has had an immediate idol, so
Yes, you know what he could do? What Mike could do? He could go to Giggles and say, "Hey, I know who flipped on you. Glenn flipped on you. Me, Glenn, Valentine, and Tree were working together. I don't know which one of you flipped to get grabber voted out in the revote, but it happened. I'm willing to give you information if you can promise me a spot in the final four." So imagine Giggles is like, "Okay, what's your information?" And Mike says a lie like, "Hey, they're voting you out. They are talking about you. So I will vote with you. If you can get Spalding and Lydia together, I can vote." And Giggles might still not trust him, so he might play his idol. But then Mike
yeah,
but then Mike can go back to them and say, "Hey, vote for Spalding instead." Mike has so many options here.
yeah,
That's what
Mike is
having
in. He is the power.
Yeah, that's what having immunity does to you. It gives you power to do whatever the heck you want. You can just go around mad spreading misinformation, and Mike, he always has like the same kind of tone, so he would be very hard to read. So
Yeah.
I'm very curious to know how Mike would play this.
All right, moving on. The individual targets. Mike is targeting Lydia. He does not like Lydia.
I think he wants to take Lydia's
Lydia is
spot.
targeting Valentine. Group alliances. Spalding and Giggles are targeting Valentine right now. Captain Spaulding, Giggles, Glenn, and Lydia are targeting Valentine as well. Valentine and Glenn are targeting Spaulding. So some of the final targets this round are Spaulding, Valentine, and Giggles. Would you ever see a world where Giggles would give that hidden immunity idol?
Depending on what information Giggles has had, I don't think, because Glenn and Valentine are so tight, I don't think they're going to say, "Hey," or Glenn will go to Giggles and say, "Hey, I told Valentine we're going to be voting out Spalding, and I think we might be able to get numbers for it, so you might want to play your idol on him." I don't think Glenn would be that
Yeah.
type of person to say that. I think, unless Mike has to vote with them, that is the only thing. If Mike does not vote with Glenn and Valentine, then Valentine is out of here.
Yeah. All right. So Giggles has the idol. Mike has the immunity necklace. Time to vote. If anyone has the idol like time and like to play it, this is the time to do so. No one stands. I'll read the votes. First vote is Captain Spaulding. That's one vote, Captain Spaulding. Captain Spaulding. That's two votes, Captain Spaulding. Four votes left. So we can pretty much say that those were from Mike and Valentine, you'd assume?
Uh, I'd say Glenn and Valentine.
Do you think Glenn is flipped on Spaulding now?
Yeah, I think he might.
Giggles. That's two votes, Captain Spaulding. One vote, Giggles. Three votes left.
Yeah, that's Mike's vote, man.
Valentine. That's two for Spaulding, one for Giggles, one for Valentine. Two votes left. Valentine. That's two for Spaulding, two for Valentine, one for Giggles, one vote left.
It's Valentine.
The 14th person voted out of Horror Survivor Season 2, Valentine. Valentine, the tribe has spoken.
Mike is the reason he got voted. Oh no, Glenn
Yep.
was.
What? He was supposed to vote for Spaulding, but disagreed.
Wow.
That's major, because that would have ended up as a tie.
He got His alliance buddy voted out. Wow.
All right, proceeding along.
Hmm?
All right, on the tribe, we still have the same hidden immunity idol. We got Spalding and Giggles, and we have Spalding, Giggles, Glenn, and Lydia, with Lydia and Spalding being the higher of the loyalty. Glenn and Spalding feel a mutual, unbreakable relationship, so that had to have
That's
played a
why.
factor.
Yeah,
Glenn plays a lot with their heart and their emotions,
exactly.
and that's why he also couldn't vote out someone earlier in the competition. Everything else, we got the same kind of relationships for. Alright, Valentine arrives at Horrifica. This challenge is.
Amazing jig. The castaways would navigate a handle across a table maze. Once they get through the maze, the handle would be used to smash open a box that contained a bag full of pieces of a puzzle. The first three castaways to solve the puzzle would stay in the game.
Alright, first impressions. They're doing a puzzle challenge. Who do you think is going to do well?
Um, I'd say Grabber and Evelyn. I don't know about Valentine and Ozzy though.
Yeah, I could see the same as well. So the first person to complete their puzzle
Yeah.
is Grabber. Ozzy finishes in second. And Valentine finishes in third. Wow. So
So
Evelyn
Evelyn.
definitely just messed up.
That hurts.
Yeah. All right. In the immunity challenge,
Bone to pick. With one arm tied behind their back, the castaways would work to solve a puzzle in the shape of a fish skeleton. The castaways would link together fish hooks to retrieve a bag of puzzle pieces that completed one of the three sections. After one section was finished, the castaways repeat again and try to retrieve another bag of puzzle pieces and would until all three sections were completed. The first castaway to solve the entire puzzle wins. Lydia wins immunity, and she also wins a three-course meal delivered at camp. And Lydia shares a reward with one other castaway, that being Captain Spaulding, and they also win a three-course meal.
interesting.
So Mike didn't win.
Yeah.
That's Mike's time then.
So Giggles has the hidden idol. Giggles and Glenn are bonding. Captain Spaulding and Lydia find something in common. Giggles is targeting Mike. Mike is targeting Spaulding. So you got Giggles and Spaulding targeting Mike, and then we got the other tribe also targeting Mike, with Mike and Giggles being the two final
Yeah,
castaways.
it's unfortunately just Mike here.
All right. Giggles with the hidden, Lydia with the immunity. It's time to vote. If anyone wants to play the hidden idol, it's time to do so now. No one stands. I'll read the votes. First vote, Giggles. That's one vote, Giggles. Mike, one for Giggles, one for Mike. Three left. Mike, two for Mike, one for Giggles, two left. 15th person vote out of Horror Survivor Season 2. Mike, that's three. That's enough. Mike, the tribe has spoken.
Mm.
Alright, so our final four: Captain Spaulding, Dr. Giggles, Glenn, and Lydia Dietz.
Man, it's all your tribe.
However, on Horrifica, we have Mike arriving once again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Four castaways are on Horrifica. They will compete, and the winner will return to the game to make it a top five again. So this is anyone's game. Someone could return, but they need to be at their top when they do return to the competition.
If Grabber returns, it's over for Glenn and Lydia, I think.
For sure. All right, this challenge for Horrifica is.
A leg up. Participants would put one foot on one end of a seesaw, while the other end having a ceramic vase balanced on it. The castaways would attempt to keep the vase balanced on the end with their foot still on the seesaw. The last castaway to have their vase balanced on the end of the seesaw would return. I don't think Ozzy wins this.
Yeah, I would be surprised if he does.
I think Valentine stands a good chance.
I think any of them could have a good
Yeah. I,
shot at it. Ozzy is first eliminated.
unlucky Ozzy. Oh,
Grabber is second.
so it's Valentine or
It all
Mike.
comes down to Mike and Valentine, yes.
Mike is eliminated there, and
It's
Valentine
Valentine
returns.
is the remaining.
So
So
that
returns to the game. Oh, and he also doesn't really want the clue.
so this confirms that one of your selected contestants will win.
Yeah. Alright, on the tribe. Uh Giggles has the idol, and this is the last round to use it, so I'm sure he's gonna play it.
Yeah, he's just gonna use
Alright, we have all the same alliances with Giggles, Spalding, and Lydia being the highest in loyalty. It's gonna be interesting because Valentine is back in, and Glenn and him do have a unbreakable relationship.
Valentine needs to win this. If he doesn't win, he's going straight back out. Um,
Ooh,
a numbers
immunity
game.
challenge.
A numbers game. The castaways would race along a balance beam to collect a series of bags containing 100 numbered tiles. The first castaway to place their tiles on a board in order from 1 to 100 would win. And Captain Spaulding wins.
Yes.
Hmm.
So we got Valentine targeting Lydia, Lydia targeting Valentine, and both tribe alliances want Valentine out.
Right.
So Giggles has the idols, last round to play it. Spalding has immunity. Let's see if he plays it to play it. He does use the hidden immunity idol, so any votes cast against Dr. Giggles will not count. First vote, Valentine. That's one for Valentine. Valentine, that's two for Valentine, 3 votes left. Lydia, 2 for Valentine, 1 for Lydia, 2 left. 16th person voted out of Horror Survivor, Season 2, Valentine. That's 3, that's enough.
That sucks.
Does suck.
Brought back just to get eliminated immediately.
Alright, this is the finale, part 2.
Spalding, Giggles, Glenn, and Lydia.
Alright, everything is all the same. Unity
Miso
challenge.
Maze. The castaways would race through a maze to collect 4 bags of puzzle pieces at 4 different stations. Once all 4 bags were collected, all the castaways would race to the top of a pyramid and assemble a word puzzle. First castaway to solve the puzzle wins immunity. Captain Spaulding wins immunity. I swear we already had this title before, too. Alright.
Alright, so Lydia works hard at camp but becomes tired. Individual targets. Glenn is targeting Lydia. Spalding and Giggles are targeting Lydia.
They should get out
Everyone's
Giggles.
Alright. Captain Spalding has the immunity necklace. Time to read the votes. First vote, Dr. Giggles. That's 1 for Giggles. Lydia. 1 for Giggles, 1 for Lydia. 2 remain. Glenn. That's 1 for Giggles, 1 for Glenn, 1 for Lydia. With 1 vote left.
So just like last season,
It could
everyone
be
got a vote.
Could be a Lydia vote. You think that Lydia was definitely Giggles and Spalding then?
I don't. I think so.
Right? The 17th person vote out of Horror Survivor Season 2.
Lydia.
Lydia. Lydia, the tribe has spoken. Oh, Spalding and Glenn who voted for Lydia. Giggles voted for Glenn. He was supposed to vote for Lydia but disagreed.
Mm,
Alright, we have the final tribal council. Our top finalists are
what about
Captain
Benny?
Spaulding, Dr. Giggles, and Glenn. Do you want to go over who our jurors are for this season?
The finalists face the jurors, and they are Benny from Benny Loves You, Evelyn Abbott from A Quiet Place, Lydia Dietz from Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, Mary Mason. What is she from?
American
American
Mary,
Mary. Mike Schmidt, Five Nights at Freddy's, Ozzy Jones, Leprechaun, The Grabber, The Black Phone, Tree Gelbman, Happy Death Day, and Valentine McKee, Tremors. Hmm. So
me.
I think Benny votes for Glenn because he's also a doll. Evelyn did not get along with Giggles or Spalding, so I think she votes Glenn. Lydia is going to vote for probably Giggles. Mary, I don't know who she'd vote for. Mike
Yeah,
would.
she was one of the first out, I believe, of this juror.
Yeah, wait, Spalding hated her, so I don't think him. So
Might be another Giggles vote.
might be another Giggle. So let's give it to Giggle. So two Giggles, two Glenn. Mike is voting for Glenn, 100%. Ozzy. I don't know who Ozzy votes for here.
He didn't really have any good relationships with any of them.
Right.
I feel like he's gonna end up going on gameplay.
Mm, who had a better game though?
Hmm. Maybe Glenn. Glenn did do some like other alliances outside of Giggles and Spalding,
Okay.
and then
So
also did flip on some votes.
so that's two votes for Giggles and four votes for Glenn. The Grabber's voting for Giggles, so that's four votes for Glenn, three votes for Giggle. Tree hated Glenn, so that's four votes for Giggles and four votes for Glenn. And I think
And then
Valentine votes
Valentine loves
Glenn.
Glenn.
So I
Yeah,
think Glenn wins it. And
it's
Spalding gets
crazy.
nothing.
All right, well, let's get to the reunion. First vote goes to Spalding, so we were wrong
What?
about somebody's voting.
Maybe Benny. I don't know.
Second vote goes to Giggles. Third vote goes to Glenn, so everyone has one vote. Fourth vote goes to Glenn. That's two votes for Glenn. Spalding. That's two votes Spalding.
Two votes Glenn, one vote Giggles.
Sixth vote goes to Glenn. That's three votes
So
Glenn,
wait,
two votes Spalding,
if this
one vote
next if
Giggles.
this next vote is Glenn, Glenn just wins.
Correct. Seventh vote goes to Glenn. Four votes Glenn. The eighth vote and winner is Glenn. That's six votes Glenn, two votes for Spalding, one vote for Giggles. Congratulations, Glenn. You are the winner of Survivor Season 2.
Wow. Benny voted for Glenn. Okay, I was right. Evelyn voted for Glenn. Lydia was the one for Giggles. Mary voted for Glenn. Mike voted for Glenn. Ozzy voted for Glenn. Grabber voted for Spalding. Tree voted for Spalding. And Valentine voted for Glenn. So Giggles got last.
He did, but he does win the Fan Favorite
That's
Award.
true. He played the hardest game in terms of
Yeah.
being a kingpin. So let's take a look at these stats. Huh, a lot of green at the bottom. 18th
Yep, for sure.
18th place from a vote 7-1 unanimous Mark Hoffman. Wow. That was a big shock because Hoffman is a
So
smart
yeah,
player and he's extremely strong
we
too.
do also want to note that he technically wasn't voted out first. He
That
was
was yeah.
voted out second, but ended up going home first after the Redemption Island
Yeah,
twist.
Drooper was originally voted first, but okay, so voted out. Well, I'll just go off voted out episodes.
Yeah,
So voted out episode 1, Drooper. Voted out episode 2, Hoffman. 3, Orlock. 4, Millie. 5, Amber.
we can go off
6,
their placements because it gets confusing if
yeah.
so.
Um,
Just go off of the placement, and then you can just make a note of like when they actually were voted out.
okay. So Mark Hoffman, 18th place. Pre-jury, he got voted out in episode 2, but eliminated first. 7 to 1 votes. Count Orlock, 17th place. Voted out in episode 3, but got eliminated second. 6 to 1 votes. Drooper, 16th place. Voted out first, but eliminated third. 8 to 1 vote. Amber Freeman, 15th place. Voted out episode 5, 3 to 2. Eliminated in 15th. Millie Kessler, 14th place. Voted out in episode 4, but got eliminated in 14th place. In a 2-2-1-1 tie, and then a 4-vote revote. Stretch, 13th place, voted out in episode 6, but then eliminated in 13th place. 3 to 1 votes, unanimous again. So that's 4 unanimous votes. Unless you want to count the revote, then it's 5. Benny, 12th place, our first juror. Voted out in episode 9. 5-3-2 votes. Mary Mason, 11th place, voted out episode 8 with a 7-3-2 votes. Tree Gelman, 10th place, voted out episode 11, part 2 in the second vote of that episode. 4-3 votes. Evelyn, 9th place, voted out episode 10 with a 5-4 votes. Ozzy, 8th place, voted out 5-3-3 vote. The Grabber, the biggest vote of the season, voted out episode 11, 7th place, with a 4-4 vote, then a 4-2 revote. 6th place, Mike, voted out episode 13, 4-1 unanimous vote. Valentine McKee, 5th place, with a 4-1 unanimous vote. Lydia Dietz, 4th place, 2-1-1 vote. Giggles, 3rd place with only 1 vote. Spalding, 2nd place with 2 votes. And our winner, Glenn, with 6 votes. Wow.
So there you have season two's chaotic season. Um, let's go through those eliminated cast members once again, and just kind of briefly talk about maybe their game. If you'd like to see them come back and return for some redemption.
All right.
You want to start us off?
So, yeah. First off, Mark Hoffman. I want to see him return so badly because he got dealt a terrible hand. He got put on a tribe with a lot of weak people, um, and just got, like I said, he got dealt an unfortunate hand. He's a strong and smart player, but they saw that as a threat, so they got rid of him. Next up, Count Orlock. I think Count Orlock, he only had bonds with Hoffman, and I don't see him having other bonds with people in other seasons too. Most people just didn't really like him, so
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to see Orlock return. What about you? Would you
Uh,
want to see
I
Hoffman or
yeah,
Orlock?
I think I agree so far with both of your replacements. I think Hoffman is a very interesting character, and maybe Big Brother is a place I could see him going next.
Possibly, yeah. If we do see Orlock return, that'd be crazy. I think instead of Orlock, we'd see like a different version of Dracula come instead of him once again. But you know, I wouldn't complain if he came back, but I don't think he's going to be that interesting as compared to some of the other vampires we could bring. Next up, Drooper. I don't see why we would bring Drooper back when we could just bring a new Banana Splits character. Like, I know a lot of people enjoyed Fleagle a lot, so we could bring in Fleagle instead. But Drooper definitely, like, he's someone who I wouldn't be upset if he came back again, but I think there's just better options. What do you think? Because, hmm. Yeah, I think Drooper is just. He's an okay character. I think he mostly benefits from, like, the physical strength since he is an AI. And I think in puzzles he'll do okay because, again, he's AI. But I think when it comes to, like, the strategic game, he's not really all there when it comes to that. I don't think he has much to really go off of. Amber Freeman is a different story, but I'm gonna continue for Drooper. Drooper is just I love his design. I love his character in the movie, but I don't see him bonding well with other people unless we have like a full season where it's just a bunch of like freaks and robots. I don't see him doing too well. I yeah. I mm. All right, let me get some more water. I'm blinded by the nights. I can't sleep until I feel your touch. I said, ooh, I'm drowning in the night.
Hello.
Okay,
Okay.
I was just singing Blinding Lights waiting for you. Alright,
All right.
so,
So we have next up, right?
you cut out what?
Next up, you said was.
So, I just got done talking about Drooper. Um, I think Drooper is like a great character in terms of like strength and he's a challenge beast in that sense. But I also see him being weak in challenges on top of that because he is a robot, so I don't know how well he'd do in like water challenges. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's not like Megan where Megan can swim, you know? I Drooper is someone who if he were to come back, I'd want to see him on Big Brother instead. But why have him when you can have different characters like Fleagle from the Banana Splits or Snorky or what's Bongo?
Yeah.
I can never remember if it's Bingo or Bongo. So
Bingo.
it's Bingo? Okay. Or, you could have other animatronics like freaking Foxy or Freddy, Like there are more characters that are like Drooper that you could bring instead of just bringing him back. It's like the same case as Orlok. Why bring back specifically Orlok when you can bring back a new vampire? You know? So,
Sure. Yeah.
would you want to see Drooper return at some point in the future?
I think that Trooper could show back up.
at some point, like I said previously with other uh season one, maybe an early out season, Trooper could be a potential candidate for.
Hmm.
But I'm not itching to get Trooper back on my screen
Same
soon.
here. All right, next up, one I want to see come back: Amber Freeman. Amber, again, just really unlucky. She's a strong girl. You know, you have to be a ghost face. You have to be a tough person. You know, so I would really love to see Amber return because she just got dealt such a poor hand as well.
Yeah, I think that if the tribal councils that early were more flip-flop back and forth, Amber would have made it much further than she did.
Hmm.
Um, that that tribe definitely just got a really bad hand early on.
Oh, very. Because the other tribe is also just physically dominant. like, Anyway, next up. Oh,
Huh?
sorry. Like the screen bugged for me. Next up,
Oh, okay.
Millie Kessler. I want to see Millie return as well, but maybe we can have the possessed version of Millie, spice it up. But again, this version of Millie I'd like to see again, but I think, you know, again, just for some more spiciness. Um,
Yeah,
the possessed version, who the like Vince Vaughn inside of Millie's body, or vice versa, Millie inside of Vince Vaughn's body. I think that'd be cool and be a unique way to see the characters return.
sure. I agree.
Okay. Um, Next up, one that you and I were both hoping would make it a bit further, Stretch. I again, my team got like demolished. I think Stretch again would be a cool person to see come back. I think she would do better on Big Brother. Um, Maybe because I feel like Survivor was just maybe too tough on her because she had what, two mental breakdowns.
Yeah, she wasn't doing too hot, and like I said, a lot of it could lead from the way the tribal councils went very early on.
Right. But yeah, I'd like to see her return. What about you?
Yeah, I think that she is definitely a possible returnee on a future season, whether it's Survivor or Big Brother edition.
Hmm. Next up, Benny. I again, Benny's like in the same boat of Drooper, whereas like there's so many doll characters that are more interesting than him. Where I don't know why we would see Benny return specifically when we could have like other dolls come in, like Annabelle, for example, or Chucky. Even we haven't seen him yet. Um, but yeah, or something from the Demonic Toys movies. I don't know anything. There's so many. Blade from Puppet Master. The list goes on. So I don't know why I would want to see Benny return back in particular. Um, I will say that one idol play he used to get Mike voted out, that was a good play. I'll give him credit, because he knew like Evelyn was going to backstab him and vote him.
Yeah.
So Benny, that play, I will give him credit. That's the only thing Benny ever did in this game, though. And when it's just you and two other people and you're on the outs, you know, it's not the biggest thing in the game. So, you know, while I respect the idle play, I don't really want to see him return too badly. What about you?
Yeah. If I was to compile a list right now of maybe my top five to return from any of the spin-off series that we have done, I don't think Benny would be on it.
Yeah.
Benny could definitely be a fun shoe-in on a future something. But I don't think Benny is particularly one that I'd like to see come back initially on the next season from this cast.
Right.
All right, moving on.
This next person, Mary Mason. Again, she got dealt the shorthanded stick on her tribe. You know, since your tribe never got to go to tribal council until merge, we didn't get a whole lot of interaction other than seeing certain alliances form. And we just saw that Mary was, not being able to get in to any group. So, um,
Right.
I think seeing her return on something, be that Big Brother or return on another season of Survivor, would be great because I think she deserves another chance. As well does Tree. Because Tree, like, other than being with Valentine and Ozzy, she had nothing. You know, um, her and Glenn were after each other the whole entire game. It's another situation of like, um, previous seasons of like Survivor and Big Brother, where two people are just nut to butt with each other and just wanting to get each other out. So again, I would like to see
Yeah.
Tree return as well. So what do you feel about Mary and Tree? Would you want to see them return?
Um, so Mary didn't give a whole lot on this season. I don't
Mm.
think a lot of my tribe got to give a whole lot. Besides what we knew what was happening because we didn't go to tribal council. And I think for me, Mary just suffers from that um hand where I don't particularly need to see her come back again um immediately.
Same.
Uh, Tree, on the other hand, did have a little bit more going on. She had her alliance with Valentine and Ozzy. Um, I think that she did perform as well as she could in the elimination on Redemption Island. I think that she could have more to show as well, but probably not as much as I would like to see of the next person.
I agree. I would love to see Evelyn return. And hell, I want to see Lee, her husband's, be on a future season of whatever. I I think she has so much potential. And again, so there was only two members on her tribe originally that didn't get voted out. Benny and Evelyn. That is an impressive feat
Mhm.
no matter what. While I don't care for Benny too much, it is impressive that they were able to make it so far in a tribe stacked with smart players, you know? So,
Yeah.
and Evelyn was performing pretty damn well. On top of that, at Redemption Island, she beat Benny, she beat Mary, she beat Tree, she beat Ozzy at some challenges. You know, she is someone I would like to see return. And she unlike
100%.
yeah, unlike some other people, she is someone I would want to see return fairly soon as well.
Yeah, I think that she just happens to get that unfortunate uh, play out of the season. And I could definitely see her come back very soon. All right.
As for Ozzy though, I didn't dislike him, but it just felt like he was more of a goat. I felt like Valentine and Tree were running the alliance and Ozzy was just there. That is my personal opinion. I think, you know, Tree and Valentine were getting along together. Then they saw Ozzy was on the out, so they just dragged him in, and they were just a vote for them. I don't necessarily want to see him return anytime soon, but I think he'd be great to see return at some point, like down the line, but just not soon. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Ozzy played very true to his character and who he is
Mm,
in Leprechaun. So I can't fault him on for that. I think he played the way Ozzy would play. Um, and everything that you said kind of makes sense to um why maybe you wouldn't want to see him because it didn't have a whole lot of personal um feats or challenges that he conquered himself. So yeah, I don't need to see Ozzy come back right away. There's other characters from the series that could come back, or not come back, but could join in a future season.
right. But this
All right, moving.
next, this next
Oh yeah,
person, the grabber, I would absolutely love to see again. This man played the game so well and had the most unfortunate blindside. And there is this blindside even rivals the Nancy Loomis one that we saw from season 1. It might even be better. What do you think about that take?
Yeah. Grabber, a great contender this season, really made his way throughout the season. Um, Between him and Loomis, I mean, put them in the same season together. Let's see what shakes up. Um, but yeah, Grabber is 100% one of. If I was picking like three people from this season to come back, Grabber would be one of the three for sure.
Yeah, I would choose Grabber and Evelyn for two of those three.
Yeah.
But
All
yeah.
right, going on to number six.
Well, I'm not done with Grabber yet. I think,
Oh, you want to grab?
yeah. So, if you remember at the very beginning with your tribe, he wasn't really getting along with a good chunk of people on the tribe. But once he got entangled with that Spalding Giggles duo, things changed and he blossomed with them into the tightest alliance in the game. And
Yes.
through that, people were like, okay, if we remove Grabber, because he's a pawn to Giggles and Spalding, if we remove him, then that can really shake things up. And so having, who was it? Tree, Evelyn, Valentine, and Mike, or what? Or, no,
Yes.
it was Tree, Mike, Valentine, and Glenn. Those four voted for Grabber, and Spalding, Giggles, Lydia, and Grabber, they voted for. Who'd they vote for? I can't remember who they voted for. They voted for someone else, and that resulted in a tie. And to not get themselves voted out by the chance of rocks, it caused Lydia, a tight member of the Spalding Giggles alliance, to flip on the Grabber. It was such a big move. If you can get someone from an extremely tight alliance such as that to flip on another person you are extremely tight with, that is extremely impressive. And Grabber also was a challenge beast. He succeeded so many times on Redemption Island, and he won, what, two or three
Mhm.
immunities?
Yep.
He did really great. He's definitely someone I would want to see return. Next
For
up,
sure.
we have finally we have Mike Schmidt from the hit movie Five Nights at Freddy's. Um, Mike is an interesting one. I didn't expect him to do as well as he did. He thoroughly surprised me. Um, I think if he does return, we're definitely going to need a different picture of him because it is so dark. um,
So hard finding one.
I believe it, but I think Mike he did a good job in this season, more than I thought he would.
Yeah,
Like,
some notable things that he did was come back after redemption
mm,
and pick up some major immunity challenge wins to keep him prolonged in the competition.
exactly, he survived like 3 or 4 votes more than what he probably would have if he didn't win those, And during the game, he was like on his original Akuma tribe. He is part of the Power Alliance and was able to control that portion of the game. And he was still controlling the game up until the final three when Benny plays his idol, you know? And for Mike to come back immediately after getting booted was great as well. Um, it was either going to be Mike or Stretch, but Mike winning, he showed his worth. We were kind of wishing Stretch won, but Mike was like, oh yeah? Well, I bet Stretch can't do this. And he made it all the way to 6th place, which, you
Yeah.
know, incredible. And in terms of the strategy, to be able to get into an alliance with Valentine, Tree, and Glenn and be a part of that grabber blindside, I mean, that's brownie points right there. And I think that if Mike made it to the final three, he probably would have won because that is hella impressive. Like, it's the definition of started from the bottom, now we're here? Next up, Valentine. Valentine, Valentine. If Glenn only voted with them, he would have made it to top four. I
Yeah.
don't know much about Valentine's character from Tremors, but I enjoyed watching him in this. So Valentine, in terms of the social game, again, he's like Ozzy and Tree. He stuck true to that alliance, and I'd argue Valentine was running it. Like he was definitely Tree. If Ozzy is a pawn to Tree, Tree is a pawn to Valentine. You know,
Yeah.
I think Valentine did a good job controlling that alliance, and to almost come back against a powerhouse alliance such as the Giggles Spalding one, that is just incredible on its own. You know, um, I also think if Mike voted with him on that one vote, that would have also been great. But um, or was it
So
Mike?
Dick can come back.
But yeah, I would like to see Mike and Valentine both return. What about you?
um, yeah, I would like to see them both come back. I don't know
How
how
soon?
if I picked one or the other, maybe Valentine a little bit more over Mike.
I
Um,
agree.
I think Valentine has a bit more personality to come through that we didn't get to see because we didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with his original tribe, so we didn't really get to see a lot of development between him until the merge.
Right.
So yes for both, but a little bit more yes for Valentine McKee.
Because we just wanted to see more of him. We saw Mike literally the entirety of the game, pretty much.
Yeah, and he
Um,
played the game well.
yeah. But Valentine, we only really got to see once Merge hit, so we didn't get enough time with him. So yeah, I agree with you. Next up, Lydia. Lydia really didn't feel like her own character, which sucks. She really, again, it's the same thing as Ozzy. She felt like a pawn to Giggles and Spalding, you know?
Yeah.
Like she was just being controlled. She was another goat that was just being dragged along. Um, so if she can change up her game, it's kind of like Ozzy. If they can change up their game and not be goats, not be actual sheep and just do whatever someone tells them and think for themselves, I would like
Mm-hmm.
to see them return. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
Lydia Dietz, again, her character from Beetlejuice. I haven't seen the sequel, but I really enjoyed her character. But here in Survivor, she really didn't get to let that shine, you know. So, what would you want to see her return anytime soon, return in the future, or do you think she's just it's a one and done?
I think with the correct cast, I like to see her come back. I wouldn't want to see her come back with Spalding or Giggles in any capacity. I would like to
Definitely
see
not.
her split off a bit on her own. Potentially maybe switch over to a game of Survivor, or not Survivor, a game of Big Brother, coming from
Mm,
Survivor, I meant. um, but I think that she could be a good house guest.
okay. So, next up, a character you and I know borderline nothing about, Dr. Giggles. I hate that name. I just want to say that right now. It's so stupid. But honestly, since I didn't know anything about him, there was not much for me to be like surprised about, other than like the short like two sentences I read off of Wikipedia about him being a psychopath. Um, so,
Yeah.
but yeah, him being like an absolute powerhouse from the get go, finding the immunity idol, playing it, like holding on to it until like the literal last second as well, and he didn't even need to
Yeah.
use it. You know, good on him. He knew when to play his idol and when not to. Um, I guess except for that grabber vote, but we don't, you know. But yeah, he at the end of it all, he was just looking out for number one, him. Um,
For sure.
would I want to see Giggles return? That's the thing. I think if I knew more about him as a character, like his own original character, and not this version we saw, then maybe. But I just don't know anything about the movie he's in or anything like that. So I don't know if he's accurate to how he is in his movie or what. So for him, he's like just an I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
What
And
about
I
you?
could say the same exact thing. Giggles really did show that his alliance with Spalding could transform into a large empire, and you know, he did what he needed to do. Unfortunately, I think for him, his game fell short when it came to the relationships that he had made with any member of the jury. As it shows, he only got the one vote where his his whatever you want to call them, his tribe mates in the finals obviously got way more.
Hmm.
With one of them really clearing them both out the water.
Oh yeah. I okay.
Giggle's coming back. I don't need him right now,
Mm,
but it could be a possibility in the future to see him play on his own without the two.
right. Now, Captain Spaulding. Now, I don't know if you're gonna agree with this, but I think Captain Spaulding played a better game. And I'll tell you why. Giggles, he may have won a challenge of immunity, I'm not sure. But Captain Spaulding, when they needed to get certain people out, he stopped, I believe it was Mike, from getting immunity. He prevented Valentine from getting immunity to keep his core four alive. He did a great job at protecting them with that. So he was also looking out for himself with getting that immunity, but on top of that, he's also protecting his alliance. Now, while you can say
Yeah,
Giggles had the idol, and he didn't need to play it, sure, that's cool and all, but like at the end of it, you might as well not even have found the idol because it didn't do anything, you know? What, it prevented one vote that wouldn't have mattered anyway? Like I think in terms of everything, because Spalding also had a lot more of enemies, like more people disliked him. So to see him make it further, it was pretty impressive. Um, he played but like I said, other than like those immunities, he played pretty much a carbon copy game of Doctor Giggles, but I think it's just a hair better.
yeah,
So Captain Spaulding, well, I do know his character more outside of Survivor. I think it's the same boat as Giggles. Like they played such a similar game where they just played so strong, where it's like I I think the thing also is like I don't know if they can play any better. I think this is their peak.
yeah, for sure. I think that they would need to really push more if they're going to try to get the win.
Mm,
But them making it to this final top three placement is definitely a strong place to go and a hard place to keep staying at.
exactly. Like they were always on the top. They were other than Grabber, they were always on the right side of the vote. Um,
For sure.
they controlled the whole game, other than that vote. Um, but yeah, like I said, I think it's hard for them to top the game they played here. So if I, because I feel like while I would want to see them again, I generally would. I also don't want to because I feel like they're just going to do worse than they did this time. And why would I want to see someone who did so well before return just to do nowhere close to as good?
For
Um,
sure, yeah, I definitely agree with that.
mm. And
All
last
right.
but not least, Glenn slash Glenda, our winner, season two. I was not expecting Glenn to win. Like looking at this
No,
cast off rip, if you were to tell me, hey, Glenn's going to be part of a power alliance that makes all the decisions for the whole remainder of the merge, I would have said, ha, you're fucking with me, and he's definitely at the bottom of that. Nope, he most certainly wasn't. Like that grabber vote. I know I've brought it up so many times, but like just knowing when to turn on your alliance to pull a big move like that solidifies you so many points. And I genuinely think if Glenn didn't do a move like that, I don't know if he would have beat Spalding. I don't think he would have, because that was, again, it was such a massive move. I think also him bonding with Valentine and Mike, that helps him. But, you know, I think Glenn's game in the merge is more impressive than Spalding or Giggles. Because Spalding and Giggles, they just picked off whoever they want. Glenn had to work for that vote on Grabber. He had to work his way past Lydia in this alliance. Because Lydia, Giggles, and Spalding had been close before Glenn. So for Glenn to
Yeah.
worm his way past Lydia in that ranking, causing them to vote out Lydia, that is really impressive. So I think Glenn played a remarkable game. We really underestimated him. It's not like Kristen um, from season one from Nightmare on Elm Street where we're like, yeah, it's Kristen. She's definitely going to do pretty good. Glenn, I feel like we can both admit we maybe thought he would be like a pre-merge vote.
Yeah, for sure. Glenn really played the smart game. I mean, Glenn did get the relationships that they needed to make it this far. Uh, Jumping into that alliance with Spalding, Giggles, Grabber, all very, very smart moves. For sure. Um, yeah, I have nothing else to say about Glenn.
Yeah, I have nothing else to say. So, top three people you'd want to see return. Who would they be?
So we already talked about the two that we both kind of
Yeah,
picked was
Grabber and
Grabber and
Evelyn.
Evelyn.
So, like, who would the third be?
Um, my third person to return. There's three people that I'm like see that I'm like,
I also have three
I
people I
think
see too.
my third one though, if I had to pick between the three of them, would be Amber Freeman.
We have the same exact three that we want to see return. Okay. Who are the other two?
The honorable mentions are Valentine McKee and Mark Hoffman.
Okay. So, mine were Mark. My other two were Mark and Stretch. Although I do like
Okay.
Valentine a lot, though. I just wish I saw more of Stretch and Hoffman.
Yeah, no, they were
I
all early outs again.
Yeah, I think that's why I want to see them more. But Valentine McKee is another one where I'd love to see.
Yeah, we got to see a lot less of Valentine early, and then just not enough of the other ones.
Right.
So, um, that does that for the statistics with those. Some other statistics. Let's see.
I'm so surprised that that first Challenger Redemption Island Drooper beat Hoffman. This is a literal
All
trap
right.
you had to get out of.
So our other statistics in terms of challenge wins, Mike dominated with 3 challenge wins, as well as 3 immunity wins. Um, in terms of votes, the Grabber received the most amount of votes against them, being 15,
Wow.
with Glenn only ever receiving 1 vote.
And that being from Tree.
Yes, in terms of the most strategic players, those were noted as Lydia Dietz, Dr. Giggles, and Valentine McKee,
Hmm.
with Benny, Dr. Giggles, and Stretch being the ones to find an idol.
I I don't know how I feel about that most strategic ranking. I don't think Lydia was the most strategic at all.
I mean, unless they're looking at it based off of like Lydia making it that far without being like a strong
Yeah,
like physical threat.
maybe, but
She wasn't on. The reason she made it that far was because she was in alliance.
I
So
mean, I can see an argument for her being in the top three most strategic, but number one, that I disagree with.
yeah. So there we have our second Horror Survivor season wrapped up. Do you have anything last that you'd like to say before we go?
I mean, other than seeing like only my tribe go the tribal during the beginning, I really enjoyed this season. And again, I my main complaint is I just wish we got to see more of your tribe in the beginning and more of my tribe during the merge. But you know, kind of like in Survivor, it's not always going to pan out that way. So you
Right.
know, other than that, I'm really happy with how this season turned out, and a lot of great characters, and the best blindside yet, the grabber. I can't stop thinking about that.
For sure. Well, that will wrap it up for us. Let us know down below your thoughts on this season. Was it better than season one? In your opinion, let us know. Let us know also who you'd like to see come back in a future season, or who would you like to see come and join Survivor for the first time. As always, I have been Austin,
And I have been Cameron,
and you have been
buried in horror.